Hey everybody, it is I'm here. It's your best buddy Basil. And yes, I'm doing better than I used to be doing, and that's wonderful. And yeah, we got a great show for you today. Let's see here. Go to canarycry.party. You know the drill. Sign up for the newsletter if you want our sources delivered straight to your inbox. You can also sign up for the text message alerts, which I highly recommend you do. You never know when we're going to disappear completely from all your very important platforms that we all love so much. So you can do that a couple of ways. A, by going to canarycry.party, or you can text the word canary to some number that I don't remember. 877 something. Oh no, I forgot the number. Gons, read me the number. 877. Gons doesn't have the number either. Oh no. Okay, well, you know how it works. Thanks. Okay. Gons is busy. Okay, I'm gonna vamp. I'm vamping. Thanks for the prayers, everybody. I'm feeling a little bit better here. Could be even better, but lucky enough, good enough to do the show, we think, today. And I've got some fancy nasal spray that might help the nasal situation. 877-740-3226. That is the number. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226, and you will start getting text messages from us. I probably sound weird, not just nasally, but also strange audio quality wise, and we can talk about that during the show. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Let's get this party started.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is October 7th. In the year 2022. We are live to tape on episode 544, and today, Hunter Nuke. And signing on from somewhere, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And my name is Gons, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live from California. Here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomena is rhythm.
Ooh, rhythm.
Rhythm.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the time. Get on up. It's podcast time. Yeah. Okay, well, here we are. I am kind of back, not at 100% here, but
yeah.
I'm closer than I was. Things did not get better after last Friday's show. They just got worse. Oh, I guess I was here on Monday,
You were
too.
here Monday, yeah.
My memory is also getting worse, so that's good to know. Mm-hmm. But I'm back in the saddle, baby. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, you're time travel podcasting, right? You're on the move.
Also, yes, I'm now also time traveling podcasting. Let's see here. I had a family trip, which was a lot of fun flying, a lot of fun flying on airplanes. And I'll tell you this. Well, first of all, I'll say I'm a responsible individual. I did take COVID tests just to make sure.
You're such a...
You know what? Don't shame anybody for testing, Cons. You can test. Testing is okay.
Yeah.
In fact, anybody can do whatever they want. They're their own individual. But I did get a test just so nobody worries. No COVID here. But flying on the aeroplanes was an interesting experience. And I guess I will share more about that during our first little break. Because, Gons, we've got a big show today. A big monster show. Let me give you a rundown.
Rundown by Basil today.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
That's right, folks. We've got, just an excellent episode for news deconstruction. We've got the New York Times posting conflicting headlines just 2 hours from one another. The narrative crafting is exposed for the millions to see, so that'll be fun to review. Then, big Flippy update today, folks. I don't know what to tell you. The robots, they're listening. They're listening, and they are watching this show, and they are teasing me. We'll talk all about that just in a little bit here. Then we'll be checking in with Biden on a few different fronts. We've got the nuclear exchange front. We've got his sort of domestic policy front, as well, the family front. That always gets a little bit shaky in the Biden family. And then some big news from our friend Chris Shillzilla over there at CNN. Sounds like he's no longer is he relegated to simply doing a podcast show or a YouTube show for CNN there on YouTube, but he's breaking into the podcast space. That's how you know we made it, Gons. Then Gons has some Metaverse news for you there. And then I will probably lose my voice after this show because I've got a lot to scream about what Insider thinks is really going to bring down the economy. And then, of course, the Beast System update at the end of the show. So it's going to be a good one. My brain and my mouth are moving slower than I'd prefer them, but thanks for sticking with us, folks. First, Gons, the leading stories.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood. They'll suck
Politics.
your blood.
This is a headline from DailyCaller.com, and it summarized this story, and we'll kind of go through it here. But the headline is right-wing conspiracy theory apparently turns out to be real in under 24 hours.
The time frame
by
which things are the time frame by which things go from conspiracy theory to truth is getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
We've all been ranting and screaming about how the conspiracy theorists were right over the past 2 years in loads of different subjects. Now apparently it only takes about 2 hours.
Yeah, and it's almost like we're watching the pendulum swing that we've been talking about. If it was an hourglass, this is like the equilibrium point. Soon it will flip.
The credibility of mainstream media dying by their own hand in real time. It's very interesting. Yeah. So tell us about it.
All right. So it says in this Daily Caller article, the New York Times initially framed a story on an election software company's connection to the Chinese Communist Party as a, quote, right-wing conspiracy theory. But within 24 hours, the story turned out to be true.
Woo!
All right, so I'm going to do the articles real quick from the New York Times.
It would be shocking if it were not so predictable.
Yeah. Well, New York Times here, this is the article in question, published October 3rd. And the headline here, how a tiny elections company became a conspiracy theory target.
Ooh.
Oh, they're targeted, Basil. You don't understand.
Yes, violence.
So this is that first article. I got a couple things highlighted here. At an invitation-only conference in August at a secret location southeast of Phoenix, a group of election deniers unspooled a new conspiracy theory about the 2020 presidential outcome.
Secret location.
That we are publishing about in New York Times. The Rising of the Phoenix, Basil. It's all symbolism. You understand?
Of course.
This is the Rising of the Phoenix.
The Gray Lady speaks in symbolism.
Yes. Using threadbare evidence or none at all, the group suggested a small American election software company, Konnech, had secret ties to the Chinese Communist Party and had given the Chinese government backdoor access to personal data about 2 million poll workers in the U.S., according to online accounts from several people at the conference.
Okay, all right. So simple statement there that there was a theory that a small elections company had ties to China.
Named company, Konnech.
Sure.
Not even ambiguous about it, yeah.
Had ties to China and was giving them information.
Yeah.
All right.
A couple more things from that article. In the ensuing weeks, the conspiracy theory grew as it shot around the internet.
Oh my gosh.
To believers, the claims showed how China had gained near complete control of America's elections. Some shared LinkedIn pages for Konnech employees who have Chinese backgrounds and sent threatening
violence.
They sent threatening emails to the company and its chief executive, who was born in China. Quote, might want to book flights back to Wuhan before we hang you until dead, one person wrote in an email to the company.
So passionate
people. And it goes on here. A few more things about Konnech and ties to the Chinese government. But the claims have had consequences for the firm. Konnech's founder and chief executive, Eugene Yu, an American citizen who immigrated from China in 1986, went into hiding with his family after receiving threatening messages. Other employees also feared for their safety. These poor people being harassed by baseless conspiracy theories.
Hey, look, I would hate to be in their position for sure.
Yeah, well, it goes into more of the details here, and it's funny because it's sort of building, threading its own noose almost. Because a couple days later, no, not even a couple days later, the next day, or maybe, October 4th, the next day, New York Times headline. Election software executive arrested on suspicion of theft.
Oh no.
And the sub-headline here is the executive, Eugene Yu, and his firm, Konnech, have been a focus of attention among election deniers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was arrested. What was he arrested for?
Eugene Yu, the founder and chief executive of Konnech, the technology company, was taken into custody on suspicion of theft. The Los Angeles County District Attorney, George Gascon, said in a statement. Konnech, and it gives a little bio about Konnech and the big thing about China. The county, this is LA County, released few other details about its investigation, but it said in its statement that the charges related only to data about poll workers, and that, quote, the alleged conduct had no impact on the tabulation of votes and did not alter election results.
Oh, so he said he's admitting specifically that the CEO of the company is arrested for stealing data and sending it to who?
Don't know, but it didn't change or impact the election. See, you pay attention to the details.
Does it not say that he was sending it to China?
Let's see later on here. Konnech came under scrutiny this year by several election deniers, including founder of True the Vote, the nonprofit that says it is devoted to uncovering election fraud. True the Vote said its team had downloaded personal information on 1.8 million American poll workers from a server owned by Konnech and hosted in China. It said it obtained the data by using the server's default password, which it said was, quote, password. Classic. Classic. Yeah, we're going to have a cyber pandemic because this kind of stuff, The password was password. According to online accounts from people who attended a conference about voter fraud when the claims were made, the group provided no evidence that it had downloaded the data, saying that it had given the information to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office said it was unaware of True the Vote's investigation and said it had no input on the county's investigation. So, it's weird because they're like denying the stuff they found, these sort of independent people found.
Konnech allegedly violated its contracts by storing critical information that the workers provided on servers in China. That's what Gascon said, the Los Angeles district attorney. Is that what he is?
He's the attorney general, I believe.
Attorney General.
General Gascon. It's triple G. Hold on.
Well, Gascon. I'm back at the DailyCaller article here. While Gascon noted that none of the information appeared to have been sold, any data stored in China must be provided on demand to Chinese intelligence and security agencies. So he's kind of trying to defend himself, this fella, by saying, no, we didn't sell the data. We just stored all the data in China on Chinese servers, which we know, obviously the Chinese government and the Chinese intelligence agencies have direct access to.
Well, they're going to right-click save. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. So that's fun. Not only was this known like weeks before, but the New York Times, again, using actual phrases like crazy right-wing conspiracy theory about the idea that Konnech would give away any election data to China, hours later, turns up that's exactly what was going on. Well, I will say this fella, you fella, is technically innocent until proven guilty, Gons. This is all just
America, baby.
This is all just one big mix-up, okay, Gons? And it's racist for you to think otherwise.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, thanks, New York Times.
Well,
You're all the news that's fit to print.
Well, it feels like this is all, even just this revealing is sort of a purposeful, and it might show kind of the financial flows where somebody's pushing out the Chinese money and imposing their own, maybe through the LA Times, and because this is New York Times versus LA Times with not LA Times per se, but Gascon being from LA.
Following the data certainly will be, following the money will certainly be a part of the investigation.
Well, following the data is following the money in the blockchain world, Basil. It's all transparent.
I would imagine that if they didn't have that, if they didn't already do that kind of investigation, they wouldn't have gotten this guy. They wouldn't have picked him up. Yeah. The FBI, that is. So, we had a little bit of this conversation beforehand. You're crafting sort of a theory here that says something like the New York Times is kind of doing a controlled demolition, like they meant to put these out in the series that they are. I think to a degree, possibly more frightening, is that it is pure incompetence. I mean, the conspiracy theory denying types, they will often say, like, no, conspiracy theories can't be real because people are just incompetent. All these things. Nobody's competent enough to pull off a conspiracy theory, which is the weakest argument possible. We all agree. But in this case, I think it is very likely that the New York Times, through its own incompetence, releases these two headlines within 24 hours of one another. Just nobody paying attention, they're written, they're probably articles written by two different people and they're just scrambling to meet a deadline. One guy, are they two different
same guy?
Authors? Same guy.
Yeah, Stuart A. Thompson writes about online information flows, and same guy published both articles.
Sounds like this guy needs a performance review. If you ask me, Gons, performance review. That's what.
What if he was assigned you can't put it all on Mr. Stuart A.T. Maybe he was told, hey, look into this, and then he had a take, so he put his sort of take on it, and then. You can say the incompetence was through him, I guess.
Even more embarrassing, it's I'll even give the credit, the benefit of the doubt, and say maybe the news of the guy's arrest came out after he wrote the crazy conspiracy theory article.
Yeah.
So he's just like, yeah, this is crazy.
Might as well.
Of course, it's election denying nonsense. And then hours later, he sees the guy gets arrested. And he's like, oh no. And he just has to kind of eat his hat and hope for the best. Cross his fingers and hope for the best.
Or maybe it's trying to gain back credibility, you know, like, hey, look, I can say that crazy thing, but also I report the facts.
Yeah, all right, complete nonsense to fire up the liberal base and get everybody mad at election deniers again because we got to do that to win. But then later I'll put out the facts. Yeah, who knows? Well, either way, Gons, it does show that the New York Times is not at their best lately, and despite all odds, I'd say we're on the upswing while they're on the downswing, Guns. I'll say it that way because it's Friday, baby.
It's Friday.
Keep playing with the Friday thing.
You gonna learn today?
Cause it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit.
Are you not entertained? It's Friday. It's Friday.
Beep, 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 bop, bop, boop. So, yes, I am off. I'm traveling the globe here, Gons.
The globe, how dare you?
Not the globe.
The pancake.
Well, the globe is the shape of my time travel machine.
Right.
Yes, I step into the orb.
Right.
And
That's
the orb whisks me away. That's what I mean when I say the globe. Because, of course, I'm just traversing the realm. And let's see here. Oh, a report from the airline industry. Gons, if I were to say that there were absolutely zero waftings or hints of COVID regulation, that would be almost exactly 100% correct. It really has like gone back to whoopsie daisies. Sorry, everybody. Okay, we'll just do it like we used to do it. Even on the planes, this is what got me. So first of all, no testing, no vax, no special lines, no masks, not even hand sanitizer at each of the, at each of the desks or whatever. No, nothing. There's not even any signs that are like, be safe, stay 6 feet away. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Except for one thing. When they are giving the spiel on the airplane, the buckle your seatbelts and put on the mask. No, not that kind of mask. It's a different kind of mask.
Did they actually say that?
One of them did. Yes, absolutely. It was
Fantastic.
like make sure to put on your own mask before helping a child or whatever.
Wait, that would be funny to put on your your COVID face thing and then you put that gas mask thing over it.
Right?
It's like a filter,
He kind of threw in a little joke, like, no, not that mask, don't worry. And in the same breath, they said something like, at the time I repeated it over and over because I wanted to be able to say it word for word, but of course I forgot it. It was something to the effect of, some passengers may choose to wear a face covering. All we ask is that everyone respects their fellow passenger and their choices or whatever. So they're kind of saying like, yeah, some people will, some people won't, but like, let's all be friends. And my immediate instinct, I was infuriated because in my mind there was like a montage of all the people getting kicked off of flights, getting blacklisted, getting doxxed on the internet for not wearing a mask on a plane. That one guy who got punched in the face for not wearing a mask, like the war stories of people not wearing a mask on the plane. And then the best they can do is just like, never mind, some people might not, but just please don't punch each other, basically, was the message. And other than that, nothing. not a single whiff of COVID travel policy, which was nice. It was refreshing, but and everything moved a lot faster. One of my planes got delayed for 4 hours because, what the story they told us was that they were tasked with transporting 8 parrots in the cargo bay.
Wow.
And they're like, we don't know how to do this. We don't know what to do about these 8 parrots, everybody. I'm very sorry. And then 4 hours later, they're like, okay, we just left the parrots. We're going. We just left the parrots and we just had to go.
Oh, somebody's going to be very upset that their
I know.
family was just left behind.
Can you imagine? You show up, your bag is lost or late, and it's infuriating. Imagine having 8 parrots disappear on the flight. I'm just telling you, man, things are weird out there.
I don't know. They might be in trouble for that one.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. Well, that's all I got. You got anything fun going on?
No, not really. Other than Governor Gavin Newsom extending the COVID-19 supplemental paid sick leave through the end of December. Yeah.
Okay.
Earning
what
votes.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Midterms, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't know. It feels it feels like he's running out of fuel or running out of bullets,
Doesn't he have his official election this year?
I think so. I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so.
So he's sort of petering out. I don't think he cares. I think he sees that big big white throne.
As long as they keep
That's true.
Right.
That's
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that, Guns, it's time to thank some executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right, folks. We are on the value for value model. That means that we don't take any corporate money whatsoever. No advertisements, affiliate codes, platform partnerships, nothing. We are entirely funded by the producers of the show. And who are they? Who are the producers? The producers are you, folks. Producers are people out there
who... Not Eugene Yu from Konnech or whatever.
I don't know what any of that means. It's Kotech, by the way. Yeah, no corporate money. We're entirely funded by producers. And the producers are you, okay? This is not simply a charitable donation program. This is nothing like that. This is simply if you want to join the team that keeps this show going. If this show brings any value to your life, you have the opportunity to put some value back in. And it's that circular cycle of value that keeps the show going. So we appreciate our producers very much. And our executive producers are those who come in hot and heavy to keep the show going, carry a heavy burden for the rest of us. Today, Gons, as of now, we do not have any executive producers.
Sad.
That's right. Well, it's not too late, though, folks. If you get any value from the show, and perhaps right now, as I am nasally speaking to you, you are realizing the value that this show has brought to your life over the years. And if that is you, you are not too late. You can still head to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. Over there, you can find all sorts of ways to keep the show going and become a producer, perhaps an executive producer, as if that's what the Lord is calling you to today. And we'll be thanking more producers later on in the show. And with that, I forgot to mention, my sound quality may sound not so good because I am traveling. I'm on the headset today, not on the fancy microphone. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it's a little throwback. Old school Canary Cry radio listeners would know the tone and timbre of your...
I remember that, Gons, before we were on the true value for value model. And we, there were people early on who kind of jumped on to keep us alive. And I spent $60.
Yeah,
$60 on a fancy headset from Best Buy. And that $60 headset kept the show going for 6 years or something like that before we stepped it up. So there you go. I'm back, baby.
Yep. All right. Are we going to move right into the Flippy update? Is that what you want to do?
You know it.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, folks. It's time for the Flippy update. You know him, you love him. We talk about Flippy. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update comes from restaurantbusiness.com. restaurantbusinessonline.com. In case you were wondering where this website is, they put online in the URL. restaurantbusinessonline.com. And the headline, thank you to everybody who sent this to us. Do you have any one of their names on hand? Okay. Well, thank you, producer, who sent this in. Multiple producers. The headline is Jamba gives its smoothie robot some personality. And I'm just going to read the subhead for the most incredible news anybody has ever heard. The robotic arm now sports a set of googly eyes and a dance routine as part of an effort to make the technology more engaging for guests. Jamba is giving its smoothie robot a makeover. The 850-unit beverage chain on Tuesday unveiled a new look for its Jamba by blended automatic smoothie kiosks, which feature a robotic arm that mixes fresh smoothies. The reimagined. They had a robot arm, Gonzo, and they reimagined it
with your imagination.
With googly eyes and a dance routine. The kiosk itself is more colorful and blah, 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 blah. No, we don't care. We only care about the robot. Quote, listen to this. Quote, we began to notice that our guests were really interested in the robots and created personas for them as they watched them make smoothies and, yes, even dance, said Danielle Fisher, Jamba's VP of Marketing, in a statement. Jamba worked with a branding agency, Gestalt Brand Lab, on the new look. Can you imagine being Gestalt Brand Lab? And Jamba's like, we want to give you $5 million to rebrand our little robot. And Gestalt Brand Lab had a team of 30 brand experts sitting around a table. And they said, you know what? I think maybe let's just put some googly eyes on it. Great idea, Darren. You did it. We got it in one. That's $5 million.
No, it's not Darren. His name's Brian.
Why, Brian? Okay, Brian. Sure, his name's Brian. Is there a punchline to why his name Brian?
No, I'm just being more accurate. Brian Muntz, Gestalt's managing director.
Oh, you're right. The guy was actually named Brian. Quote, our goal with the Jamba by blended creative work. The creative work was to develop a unique consumer offering only found at the robotic kiosks. Googly eyes can only be found at the robotic kiosk, drawing consumers in with a fun and Insta-worthy experience.
Insta-worthy, wow.
Ooh, that's what I said when I started podcasting with giant googly eyes on my VR headset. I thought to myself, you know what? I've been covering robotic arms for years. It's pretty much my one and only obsession. And now I'm going to use googly eyes to become more engaging, customer-facing engagement with a fun and Insta-worthy experience. It's like the simulation that we're living in ran an algorithm and said, what is just everything that Basil is? just look, I love smoothies. That's no secret.
Yeah.
For those listeners of the Joyspiracy Theory, a podcast that I do and did, you can go listen to it. Pretty much for like 50 episodes in a row, I would end every episode talking to the guest about smoothies and juicing. So you add the smoothies, you add the googly eyes, the flippy arm. So somebody is playing a cruel prank on me.
I have a theory. You have done so well in keeping your anonymity that the Eye of Sauron, so to speak, sees you and doesn't know what to do because they can't identify you. So they're like, they just start mimicking you. Like, oh,
right, they're trying to lure me out.
Yeah,
it's a trap.
Yeah,
waiting for me.
It's
to
a
show
mind
up.
control algorithm to discover you. Don't crack. Hence the armor, Basil, your bronze torso that I have.
Yes, for those who are watching and not just listening, Gons has a very creative conglomeration of things for the video. I'm wearing a suit of armor and my googly eyes and my cowboy hat. I think you might be onto something. It is possible because put this on the pile, the heap.
Yeah, the heap
things.
in the last month, especially
the Flippy update being stolen by Adam Carolla. The googly eyes being put on literally everything.
Yeah, the cars.
The cars, the automated cars, right. Everything, I think it makes sense. If the simulation or the eyes of the powers that be are trying to lure me out because they're trying to get me to start taking credit for stuff, reveal myself so I can get my royalty payments on the robotic arm with googly eyes. They're clever, but I'm more clever. I'll tell you that much.
I'm seeing that my audio is distorting. Is that true over there for you, Basil? Or is that just for the video?
What's strange is my audio was distorting a little bit too. But was it distorting for you, for me?
No, everything sounds fine on my end, but people are saying that it's distorting, so I don't know.
You sound great to me. But anywho. So there you go, folks. They've done it. They've fully taken everything from me. I have sort of experienced a full destruction of any personal brands that I may have thought I could hold on to. Well, it's been stolen.
It's a matter of evolving the look. You got to evolve the icon.
Well, it fits in with everything, Cons, because everything we've been talking about for the past 10 years is now coming true and is now being talked about on the mainstream news networks. So we're not special in that way anymore. And then they're taking the googly eyes, the robotic arm, the flippy, the everything. And so that's not a thing. Where do we even go from here? Where do we even go?
Maybe our president, our leader, can help us.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs. Hairy. Got hairy legs. Hairy.
Come on, man. Armageddon's on the way.
Man, is he predicting his own thing? He said that a long time ago.
Armageddon's on the way.
But now, according to APnews.com, Biden's Armageddon talk edges beyond bounds of U.S. intel. Wow, AP News. President Joe Biden's warning that the world is at risk of a nuclear Armageddon, in quotes, was designed to send an unvarnished message that no one should underestimate the extraordinary danger if Russia deploys tactical nuclear weapons in its war against Ukraine, administration officials said Friday. The president's grim assessment, delivered during a Democratic fundraiser on Thursday night, rippled around the globe. Oh, I guess he's using the time machine too, and appeared to edge beyond the boundaries of current U.S. intelligence assessments. U.S. security officials continue to say they have no evidence that Vladimir Putin has imminent plans for a nuclear strike. But Joe keeps saying it's getting worse, Armageddon's on the way.
Almost like his party has to gain some points in the midterms. So you keep everybody more fearful than ever. Trust old Uncle Joe there, and don't worry, he'll take care of you.
Biden veered into talk about Ukraine at the end of his standard fundraising remarks, saying that Putin was, quote, not joking when he talked about the use of tactical nuclear weapons or biological or chemical weapons. Oh, the arsenal grows. It's not just nuclear. It's also biological and chemical. What are they planning to do to us, Basil? What What is the agenda here that they would they're getting ready to blame Putin for this thing?
Steal our content.
Well, they're already doing that. They're on to the next thing. Quote, we have not faced the prospect of Armageddon since Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis, he added. He suggested the threat from Putin is real, quote, because his military is, you might say, significantly underperforming, end quote. You know, this whole thing, there's a book I bring up often, a fictional book called The Atopia Chronicles. And one of the themes in that book is that it's, again, a fictional story. There is a group of people that are living in sort of that virtual realm that believe something is that their island that they're living on, there's a giant storm coming and they think they got to prepare for the storm because it's going to hit the island and we got to do all the things. The rest of the world know that something's wrong with those folks and they're being fed like false information. And there is no storm, you know, and there's like this huge divide in civilization of people who know what's going on and see the absurdity, and then people that are completely within that bubble, almost like its own hive mind.
It's a nice allegory, for the sort of mind control, the fear-based mind control of a certain group of people. Yeah. And it's so obvious from the outside that it's complete nonsense. But when you're in it, when you're the target, when the danger is looming over you, you just can't see it.
You know, in the context of U.S. politics, too, this might be a very, very strategic way to get off of the liberal left as being the mainstream. Because you can't do that without absurdities. You know, you can't really like, because even AP here is starting to report like, there's other people saying that there's no evidence. And not only that, CNN has this headline, Biden's nuclear warning, not based on new intelligence, but opens a window into real worries inside the White House. And President Joe Biden's stark warning Thursday night that the world faces the highest prospect of nuclear war in 60 years was not based on any new intel. Okay, is he just repeating this thing?
Yeah.
But for CNN to take the stance of, Biden said it, there is concern, but it's not based on any like actual intel. Like he's kind of getting it somewhere else.
Well, or he's just blabbing his mouth is what they're admitting. Yeah, that's it. He's just blah, blah, blah. Armageddon's on the way, baby.
Yeah, exactly. But what is all of this, what is it useful for in terms of distraction? What else are they throwing up there?
You mean from Biden? Are you asking me about the next article, or do you have a theory?
What are you losing your mind? What's going on?
I'm losing my mind. Well, I do have another article. This is from Newsweek here. The headline is, Newsweek, which, as we've mentioned many times before, unknown funding seems to have some hints, some clues that it's an official propaganda outlet for one reason or another, or simply connected to the U.S. intelligence apparatus. But the headline today came out: Biden's marijuana pardons unlikely to make a big midterm splash.
Well, Newsweek, where are they skeptical of Joe's moves
they
here?
They are really downplaying this thing, and I think it's actually kind of funny. The announcement Thursday by President Joe Biden on reforming marijuana policy on a federal level is the fulfillment of a campaign promise that should have occurred sooner, one Democratic strategist told Newsweek. Yeah, no kidding. Considering he was promising to do this back in the Obama administration, but okay. Biden's plan includes pardons for those convicted of simple possession under current federal law, as well as a reclassification of marijuana from its current Schedule 1 designation, the same designation given to drugs such as heroin and LSD. Amani Wells Onyoiha, operations director at Soul Strategies, told Newsweek she's glad Biden is treading forward with a safe, common sense political strategy that should have been done previously, even by executive action, which she says hasn't been utilized to its full potential on other issues.
Wow.
Okay, sure. Yeah. He signed the most executive actions of any president in decades on day one, but apparently marijuana wasn't in there. It's not good enough. It may not be enough to sway midterm voters, however. Now, before I get into the why this apparently won't work to win midterm elections, this is a very interesting thing for him to do, because every president since Obama, Trump, and Biden have all promised since their, campaign speech, first campaign announcements, that they were going to decriminalize or at least, revisit the federal marijuana laws. And of course, none of them did it. He did it now, but as noted by this Democratic strategist, too late. Because it comes off as an obvious, political play. Yeah. Considering Biden, as he loves to remind us, wrote the 94 crime bill, which was really the bill that made it the worst possible situation for the marijuana enthusiasts, I guess. Now, I will say, it's always an interesting conversation on this show because we have so many things kind of overlapping. Of course, we're a Christian show, but we're also a sort of political examination type of show. And as someone who leans toward libertarian, just the very idea that government should have as little power over an individual's life as possible. A classic sort of extreme libertarian idea is that the government shouldn't have any say in what drugs you choose to do or not do. Not saying drugs are good, not saying they're healthy. In fact, most of them incredibly dangerous and just generally bad for you. But the move away from the hyper criminalization of marijuana that started in the 90s, especially with the 94 crime bill, is progress. I think it does hurt his case a little bit that the 94 crime bill was obviously seen as a political play because there was so much terror, mostly created by the media and the Democrat establishment, about what Hillary Clinton called super predators, and Biden and his quotes about not wanting his kids to grow up in a racial jungle. That's just incredibly racist 90s period for the Democrat Party. And the 94 crime bill was considered, wow, he's super tough on crime. What a hard-nosed fella. And this resulted in, people going to federal prison for possession, meaning, having a little baggie or something and getting, having the full force of the law brought down on them. Not necessarily a great time for American policy. But to have them turn it around now, it is so weak. It just seems not weak because he's like, oh, he's soft on crime or whatever. It's weak because it's obviously a midterm political play.
Another bullet in the chamber. It would have been a more powerful bullet in the past, but it's eroded a little bit. So it's kind of petering off like
he's
not
2 years in.
Yeah.
He's 2 years in and has only just started to do the things that he was promising to do, like the school loans. Sorry, what is it called? School debt?
Student debt.
Student debt, that's what it is. Student debt forgiveness, stuff like this. All the things that people elected him for, he's taking too long, making it obviously a midterm play. And the funny thing about the marijuana laws is it's pretty widely supported around the country, regardless of political party. So you're not going to sway anybody. You're not making any,
You don't think people change their minds?
Grandiose statements or anything.
Hey, Joe finally did it. Yeah, let's vote for him. I was going to vote for a Republican, but man, this
possible.
Thing really just...
I was pretty mad that he started World War III and got got the whole world blown up with nukes, but he made weed legal. So,
well, this also is kind of a counter Russia thing too, because wasn't that Brittany Griner?
Brittany Griner
is still in hostage, or not hostage?
Yeah, sort of hostage. Yeah, she's sort of a political prisoner. Yeah. So it does make a statement there for sure.
Yeah. Still weak in all ways.
This Newsweek continues. A morning consult / Politico poll on federal marijuana legalization released the day before Biden's tweet announcement shows 71% support by Democrats and 61% by independents and almost 50% of Republicans. In total, 3 in 5 voters said marijuana should be legalized nationally. Support exceeds a minimum of 58% amongst voters of all races and ethnicities, with baby boomers representing the age group least inclined to support such legislation.
Oh, the boomers.
Sorry, boomers. Biden's doing things that won't get him too much backlash on either end, Wells Onyoya said. Quote, let's be honest, everyone smokes weed on both sides. Okay, I don't know about everyone, but okay, I see your point. I'm hoping this is the first step in a much bigger step to make over the criminal justice system. Pardons would positively affect people of color more than anyone. The National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws reports that even as white and African Americans consume marijuana at roughly the same rates, African Americans are 4 times more likely to be arrested. Thanks to Joseph Biden. They don't put that part in here, but that is the case because of the bill Joe wrote. And let's see, it goes on. I'm going to skip down just a little bit. This is a quote, Biden is hoping his announcement will help energize the Democratic base in the final weeks leading up to the midterm elections, Cooperman said. Quote, his decision to pardon thousands of people convicted of marijuana possession under federal law, pushed for by advocates for months, could well boost Democrats in the upcoming elections, in particular, mobilizing young people, liberals, and minorities. Polling shows that
it's like a catch and release, draw them in, catch him,
exactly,
and release them right when
forget about them the second they vote for you. That's the classic Democrat Party strategy. Anyways, it goes on for quite some time, but I think it's an interesting development.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of this story and the one before about Armageddon and all that kind of stuff might be a distraction, might be a way to sort of obfuscate the search engines when people are searching for Biden. Although I don't know, the tides are turning. But this is CNN.com. Federal prosecutors weighing charges on 2 fronts in Hunter Biden investigation.
Oopsies.
Yeah, actual stuff going down, I guess. Federal prosecutors believe they could charge Hunter Biden with tax crimes and a false statement, but a final decision still has not yet been made by the U.S. attorney in Delaware, according to sources familiar with the matter. The case against Biden narrowed earlier this year and was a matter of discussion in early summer between FBI and IRS agents or investigators, prosecutors in Delaware, and the Justice Department, CNN previously reported. Something I just noticed now. When CNN reports something, they will say CNN previously reported. There was another article earlier, I forget which one it was, from today, where it didn't say CNN previously reported. It said CNN was previously told by like some source. I think it was about the election.
That's interesting.
I think it was about
like
the
they
election
were told something and didn't
report it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The little subtlety there. The discussions included assessing the strength of the case and questioning whether more work was needed before deciding on charges, according to sources who spoke to CNN in July. Prosecutors have not yet made any charging decisions on the case and have not met since early summer to discuss the federal investigation. Okay. A source familiar with the matter told CNN that talks between Biden's team and the Justice Department have been ongoing for several months, but nothing has changed in a couple of months on that front. Why are they reporting this if nothing has happened? Quote, as is proper and legally required, we believe the prosecutors in this case are diligently and thoroughly weighing not just evidence provided by agents, but also all other witnesses in this case, including witnesses for the defense. Biden's attorney, Chris Clark, said in a written statement to the Journal. The Washington Post reported on Thursday that prosecutors believe they have, quote, sufficient evidence to charge Biden, one of President Joe Biden, a son of President Joe Biden, in two areas, two things.
So
Tax
they're not
crimes?
talking about the sufficient evidence on the laptop or the videos of him doing crack cocaine.
No.
That's not the evidence they're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is,
Okay.
This is we're we're not going to.
Crazy right-wing conspiracy
Crazy
theories.
right-wing conspiracy. No. The legit story is that there's two things that have sufficient evidence to take this guy down. The first one is tax crimes, and the second one, a false statement regarding a gun purchase.
Oopsies.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing to do.
No.
You don't want to lie to purchase a gun. That's called illegally purchasing a gun, Hunter. That's not a good look.
Buy a ghost gun? What's going on? Investigators have...
Sounds like he was lying on his...
documentation.
On his forms, yeah.
Investigators have at various times inquired about multiple facets of Hunter Biden's life, initially focusing on tax issues and money transfers related to business activities in China. Multiple people familiar with the probe previously told CNN. Oh, there it is. I think that's what it was. This article. Okay, now it's coming back to me. I just had that moment when I was previously reading it. Yeah. So this here, it says how the China stuff, right? That it was taking place, that Hunter had a connection with China. Multiple people familiar with the probe previously told CNN. They didn't report it.
Right.
But now they can say, oh, we were told that. Interesting. It's in the same article. Yeah, pay attention to whether they're saying that they reported it or they were told. So anyway, those two things, the tax or the tax stuff and then the gun stuff. But it doesn't seem like it's very, I don't know. It seems more like a slap on the wrist.
Well, it's interesting because it's ignoring the most obvious ones. Now, we know that actually maneuvering through the prosecutorial process and the justice system is often more complicated and more boring than you would like it to be.
Yeah.
A video of someone, hypothetically, like if someone had a video of themselves, like with hookers, possibly underage, smoking crack. Apparently now we know with an illegal gun and et cetera. Just because the video exists doesn't mean you can prosecute somebody on it.
Looks like it is right here. The prosecutors have also examined a 2018 incident in which a firearm owned by Biden ended up tossed by his then girlfriend into a dumpster in Wilmington. A person briefed from the matter said.
I've never heard that one before.
That's what it says. Biden described in media.
His gun got tossed in a dumpster. His laptop got left at a repair place.
Guy just can't keep his stuff together.
Guy can't catch a break, man.
Get a backpack, buddy. Biden described in media interviews last year that he was addicted to drugs, which raised the possibility he broke federal law when he bought the firearm. Federal law prohibits firearm purchases by anyone who uses or is addicted to illegal drugs.
Yes, you have to say. I always wondered about that part on the form. There's a question like, are you addicted to illegal drugs or do you use illegal drugs? And it's just like a check yes or check no box. I always think like, who checks yes on that?
Gotcha, Hunter.
It's one of those ones you think you think you can get away with it, but somebody gets busted for it.
Yeah.
Bummer, dude.
There you go. Yeah. So it looks like the walls are closing in a little bit on Hunter. Because at a certain point, I think things become undeniable, and if CNN is making that 180 from where we were maybe a year or so ago.
Trying.
They're trying, and they got to be more balanced. So, here you go. They're trying.
Sure,
they're trying to.
Sure.
The whole left media and everything else. They're trying to make it seem like they're more fair and balanced.
We'll see. All right. Well, good luck, Hunter. Good luck, Biden. Good luck to all the marijuana federal prison guests And good luck to all of us as the impending nuclear apocalypse continues to barrel towards us. But we'll still be here, and we'll be having a party.
Do you think Hunter Biden should be invited to our party? I don't know. That's risky.
I don't think Hunter Biden has ever shown up to a party he's actually been invited to.
That's true. Yeah, stay away from our party, Hunter. Go to canarycry.party. Actually, Hunter can go there. Canarycry.party is a website with a tree of links that leads to everything from where to listen to the show, watch the show, how to produce the show, connect with us and the community.
That's right. It's a great place. You can go listen to Ravel, which is a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates, who's got a PhD in biblical interpretation. We explore society, scripture, and scandal, having tough conversations in good faith. Go check it out. There's a little bit of a Burning Man 101 episode with Carl Teichrieb over there. It is not the release of the Canary Cry Burning Man research, but if it's been a while, if you want a good Burning Man 101 transformative events in the safe space of conversation of, talking about transformative events, not only with your best buddy, not only with in my book, #1 transformative events researcher in the world, but also with the good doctor, Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates, making sure everybody's theologically sound in the way we explore these types of things. Go check it out. Ravel, you can listen to it right there on canarycry.party, but also all your podcast players. You can also click a little button over there. It'll take you to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube. You should go subscribe to that channel. It is this show clipped out and segment by segment separated out into little bite-sized pieces you can listen to without having to hit the whole show. We did get its first strike last week, so it's a new dawn. It's a new day for Canary Cry Clips. So go get it while it's hot. You can also join the text message list, where you get a text message right before we go live. It's a great reminder, especially because the big platforms don't like to send out notifications when we go live. So text the word Canary to 877-740-3226, or go sign up over there at the link tree. You know what? I'm remembering we did just get an email about an error on that button. So do it the text message button.
Oh.
Yeah. We got to fix that. So go ahead and text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. Yeah, there you go. And with that, let's take a second and thank some producers.
Break time.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Uh-huh. That's right. We're taking a quick break to thank some producers because we're on the value for value model. No corporate money whatsoever. Some people love corporate money. Some people love people who love corporate money, but here, that's not how we roll.
The majority of people out there that
they love
doing
it.
Podcasts,
they love it. Yes.
Corporate money.
They love the corporate money. But the problem is, once you start taking corporate money, it's hard to say no. And suddenly you have a financial sort of fiduciary obligation to stay brand friendly, which means there are definitely things you can't talk about. There are things you should talk about. You can't say anything negative about your corporate sponsors and blah, 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 blah. So we just don't bother. No corporate money whatsoever, which sounds cool until we all realize that it's up to the producers to keep the show going. But it is a wonderful system because if you get value from this show, you have the opportunity to take the bold step forward into a new system that does not rely on sort of the umbrella of darkness that is the advertising industry the corporate sort of commandeering of the message of a media property such as this one. No, you as a producer who gets value from the show can put value back in. There's a lot of ways to do it. You do it with your time, your talent, or your treasure. And we want to thank some of our producers now, which is a real title, by the way, not just a gimmick. Put it on your LinkedIn, put it in your bios. It's a real deal. We've actually been references for people who are getting jobs after they do stuff, to produce the show. So it's a real deal.
Put it in your LinkedIn
profile, right?
Profile and all that stuff.
And if you want to become a producer, head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
Yeehaw, baby. Okay, we're going to thank some people. You ready, Gons?
Ready.
Here we go. Sadly, no executive producer has made it onto the show today.
Yes.
So,
a couple episodes in a row.
Really?
It's a streak. Yeah.
Uh-oh, we have a no executive producer streak. All right. Well, we will just move right on over then to the rest of our producers, starting with producer Alex G.
Alex G, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex G. Comes in with the $33.33 plus fees. That's right. Next up, we have producer Joey-licious 7.
Joey Licious, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joey Licious. Comes in with $33.33.
Yeah, the Illuminatus coming in.
This note says, thanks for all you do. I've got the Canarians in my prayers. Thank you very much, Joey Licious. Next up, we've got Jason F.
Jason F, thank you.
Thank you. Jason F comes in with an interesting amount here. Comes in with $26. Thank you. Plus fees. No, that's with the fee. Yeah, $26. Thank you very much, Jason F.
Thank you.
I'm going to do a quick little search, see if there's a note that came with that. Not that I can find. Okay. Next up, we got Malik W.
Malik W, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much, Malik. Glad to have you back. Nice round number. And just as a reminder, if you come in with a nice round number, that means that you would prefer that we don't disclose your producership amount. If you don't mind us disclosing, make it a funky number. Make it a weird number, something not round. Next up, we've got producer Arnold W.
Thank you, Arnold W.
Arnold W. comes in with the 1111. 11. Thank you. Next up, we got producer Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots, on a 148 episode streak. Thank you very much, Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots. He's got a note here. He says, "Happy Friday."
It's Friday. There you go. Keep playing with the Friday thing.
Says, "Hope everyone has a great weekend." Thank you, Morv.
Thank you, Morv.
Next, we've got Progress, Not Perfection.
Thank you, Progress, Not Perfection.
Yeah, came in with a funky number. I'm not sure what it means.
Certainly don't like vowels.
No vowels. No vowels allowed. I'm looking for the other version of the notes, but I cannot find it. Here we go. I'm not sure. It came in as $14.94, and then minus fees is $14.02. So I'm not sure what it was, but either way, thank you very much. Progress, Not Perfection. It says, long-time listener, second-time giver.
Thank you.
Thank you. In this bonkers world, your podcast is the highlight of my workday. Thank you. Enjoying the life we're given is a gift from God, and you're a part of it. I'm sharing often. Wow. Very nice. Very nice message. Thank you very much. Producer, Progress, Not Perfection.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Next up, we've got producer Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Pandas. 54 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Darren.
Comes in with a pocket full of sevens and a note and says, "It is Friday."
It's Friday.
Hope you have a great day. Thank you very much, Sir Darren.
Thank you, Sir Darren.
Next, we got Sir Alex Protocol V2, Night of the Berean Protocol, pocket full of sevens, and on an 85 episode streak.
Oh, yeah!
Man, thank you so much.
And it also has a note here that says it is Friday.
You gonna learn today?
Cause it's Friday.
I wish you all the best. I am a few shows behind, but I'll catch up. Ooh, yeah, I hear you. I'm a few shows behind too. Okay, that conclude. Well, let me do a double checkers here, because sometimes people come on in when the break starts, thinking they can slip in with producership, and we're trying to let them do it. Nope, that's it. That concludes our list of financial producers who came in the amount of $777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got a few more people to thank. I'll thank them now, starting with Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, on a 204 episode streak.
Oh yeah, streakalicious.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
Streakalicious. Thanks, Sir Scott. Next up, we got Veronica D on 180 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D.
While I was gone, Gons, while the zookeeper was out, the monkeys were in charge of the zoo, so whatever metaphor you want to put it. Runk Smash, his streak got messed up. So today, we are going to credit Runk Smash with his 33rd episode in a row.
Illuminated Lizard Master Shill. Officially solidified Illuminated Lizard Master Shill.
The most exciting streak.
That's right, the most exciting streak. Thank you very much, Runk Smash.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
You did it.
I apologize. The samurai monkey over here messed up all the numbers. Can you imagine an Asian messing up all the numbers in the math?
Can you even imagine? Thank you, Runk Smash. Next up, we got producer Gail M. And she's on a 180 episode streak.
We need to dame her.
Yes, we do. We're going to do that in just a second.
Okay.
Right after we thank Sir Casey the Shield Knight for coming in and supporting the show for 215 episodes in a row.
Oh yeah, streakalicious.
That's right. Thank you all for your support. And yes, today is the day we'll be daming the one and only beloved Gail M. Yay. I am cruising around looking for the dame name that we landed on. I think she told us this dame name in a message recently, and I will find it.
It was like a combination of what
I got
come up with.
Yeah. I got it. Okay. Let's see. Let me just do a little copy and paster so I can make sure that I have it. While you do that, you can get out your sword there. Your katana
sword.
Oh my gosh. Somebody's cranky today. All right, here's this. I brought my travel blade. Had to check it on the plane.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we want to call up Gail M. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more all at once or over time, we're proud to pronounce you Dame Gail, Canary Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteousness, custom fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. And if you're hungry, we have fancy feast, wet food, carved combos, the Christopher cow, and fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Dame Gail, Canary Whisperer, and Lady of X's and O's. The crowd goes wild. Big day. Thank you very much, Dame Gail, Canary Whisperer, Lady of X's and O's. See, I forgot to mention it at the top. If anybody's wondering what's going on, the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames is an elite squadron of producers of the show who who support the show in the amount of $1,000 or more, and that can be all at once, or they can take time. For Gail, it took 170 something episodes, but it's really, really impressive and appreciated, Dame Gail. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Dame Gail is in the Rockfin chat there. So if you're in the Rockfin chat, give her a
I forgot about the Rockfin. Yeah. Yes. Hello, Rockfin. I better go over there. There's some times that the Rockfin chat gets a little rowdy. We get some attention over there, and the moderation of that chat is, let's just say Rockfin is kind of still the Wild West when it comes to the chat. So
where we live in the Wild West, Basil.
It's pretty Wild West. I know, man. It's crazy. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody who supported the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure, but specifically for these producers. Thank you so much for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Is there anything else, or let's wake up?
I think we're waking up.
Let's wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
And it is time for everybody's favorite person.
Shill. A shill for sure.
It happened, Gons. It finally happened. Chris Shillzilla. He's made it to the big time. We've been watching him for years, rooting for him, scoffing at him, making fun of him, but all in good fun. They're not giving him a show on CNN, but he finally has started his own podcast. That's right. Chris Shillzilla, he's joining the illustrious ranks of degenerates called podcasters. And it's about time. Have you seen this, Guns? Of course you have.
Well, before you start, I do want to quickly debunk this idea that Chris Shillzilla is breaking onto the podcast scene with this particular show that we're going to talk about through CNN.
Sure.
Because he did have a show titled EXECUTIVE, the Fix podcast under
what is that? Sorry. So Cillizza? Cillizza. Can you spell that for me, please?
CIQUIZZA. Cillizza.
Huh. And you're saying I've never heard of a show called Cillizza. Never made it to the top podcasting list.
Do you like game shows and politics?
Cillizza. Was this produced by Cillizza himself, or was this a CNN property? What was this?
I think it was through Washington Post, and his last episode that he published was on 30 episodes published. The last one
a long time ago,
March 16th, 2017. He has like a 30-second thing, a 1-minute podcast where he's like, "This is the last time I'm going to be publishing on Washington Post because I'm going to CNN, moving up in the world."
Wow.
But he had a EXECUTIVE, the Fix podcast. So he's not a newcomer. He's returning to his true love.
30 episodes. No.
Listen to this description for that show, too. Do you like game shows? Do you like politics? Whatever. You will love the EXECUTIVE anyway.
That's pretty hurtful. It's a pretty painful thing.
That's his
now he's got a new show.
Okay.
His new show is produced by CNN. Excuse me, 1 second.
Clearing some pipes is what I'm guessing is going on.
Yes, trying to. The medication's starting to wear off.
Yeah.
His new show is called Downside Up. Downside Up, and it's produced by CNN. It's got a as above, so below type of vibe, and the thumbnail. First, let me read you the description, okay?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
And then we'll look at the thumbnail, and then we'll see if they match. It goes like this. What if the parts of our lives we've accepted as normal were totally different? What if... Whoa, bro, pass the bong. What if normal things were not what they are, dude? What if dogs had... Okay, that's how I'm going to read this. Excuse me. What if the parts of our lives we've accepted as normal were totally different, dude? What if dogs had never been domesticated? Or humans had no sense of flavor? Oh, dude. What would have happened to the spice trade? And how would have that shaped the future of the world, man? Join CNN's Chris Cillizza as he speaks with journalists, experts, and forward-thinking futurists.
Oh, I think that's
to
Basil.
help us. I was gonna say, thank you.
You need to be on the show.
Well, I have not heard from Chris's people. Mm-hmm. I am a forward-thinking futurist, okay? I called the googly eyes on the robotic arm, making smoothies. Nobody is as forward-thinking futuristy as myself to help us envision what might have been, dude, and how even a small shift in the status quo could change our world completely. Whoa, dude.
You must have watched some Butterfly Effect or something. It sounds like he's heavily influenced by movies, like pop culture movies.
What if things were different, dude? There's first episode was on October 3rd.
It was like an introductory thing.
No, that was September 15th.
Oh, September 15th. Yeah,
was the teaser.
Sorry,
October 3rd was what would the world look like without flavor?
Uh-huh.
What would the world look like without flavor, bro? Imagine you woke up tomorrow morning and couldn't taste your favorite meal, dude.
Oh, I wonder, is there... I think a lot of people can somewhat relate to that.
Are there perhaps millions of people who caught COVID and lost their sense of taste who possibly, whoa, dude, are living the exact hypothetical situation you based the entire first episode of your podcast on? Whoa. Imagine you couldn't experience flavor at all. Okay, just another way of saying couldn't taste things. And so far his thing says, imagine if you couldn't taste your favorite meal. Imagine if you couldn't taste at all. How would it affect your day-to-day world? There's no lunch dates, because of course you don't eat lunch if you don't taste things. No birthday cakes. Yeah, okay. No barbecues. Oh, and it goes on. Where'd it go? On this episode of Downside Up, Chris Cillizza is joined, and then it goes on. Okay, so the thumbnail is sort of a trippy thing. It's got, let's just start with right in the middle. We've got a crystal ball with a single eyeball staring out of it. And if you notice the single eyeball in the center of the thumbnail, you might not really think about it, but you look closely. The pupil on this eyeball it's bigger than Hunter Biden. Bigger than Hunter Biden's pupils.
No, see, this is where you hide. Yeah, so you know how
hotel room.
Yeah, when you draw eyes, you put that reflecting glow on it. So you kind of put. So that's a C, no, Basil. It's Cillizza. C. Come on, you can't decode this.
No, that's an eyeball.
I know it's an eyeball, but I'm saying
it's an eyeball
the pupil of the eyeball
on drugs.
Is a C for
Chris. It's on drugs. He heard Chris Cillizza, or he heard Joe Biden is decriminalizing marijuana and started a trippy podcast. So it's a crystal ball with an eyeball in the middle staring right at you. And then sort of like two purple hands, like sort of, I don't know.
Open palm.
kind of an open palm, as if the hands are levitating the crystal ball. It makes no sense, is what it is. It's like it looks like the podcast should be called, I don't know, Bong Thoughts with Bong Thoughts with Rainbow the Wizard is what it should be called. Okay, let's do that. Let's recreate one of the artists. Go grab the downside up thumbnail. Take out the downside up. It's called Bong Thoughts with Chris the Wizard. And that's what it is. Now, Guns, you have provided a valuable service to everyone here because we've been talking about Chris for some time now. We're possibly his biggest fans, or at least the most responsible for his sort of algorithmic I don't know, mentions on audio
we
platforms.
we helped with the algos on like Twitter and stuff by talking about him. Yeah,
we track his career more closely than pretty much literally anybody but his mom. And the audience right now, our producers might be tempted to go listen to this podcast. I'm telling you right now, folks, you do not have to do this. You can if you want, but you do not have to, because Gons has brought the podcast to you. You had a listening experience. Will you tell us about the podcast?
I had a listening party. Yeah, I had a downside up listening party. I was sipping on some tea.
You brought out the bong for Bong Thoughts with Rainbow Chris the Wizard.
And so I got a couple clips here. This is the tag, the intro tag, to really get you going.
I'm Chris Cillizza, and you're listening to the very first episode of Downside Up, a new podcast from CNN that looks for answers to some of the weirdest what-if questions of our time. This week, we're wondering, what would the world be like without flavor? So join us as we turn our taste buds downside up.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Okay. Now look, we are certainly going to be tempted to excoriate Chris for all sorts of details of this. But right off the bat, it's interesting because he's creating a podcast based around a premise that is precisely mimicking the premise of some of the most widely distributed and listened to podcasts. He's doing a Radio Lab, or a 99% Invisible, or a This American Life, or How Is It Made?
Yeah, the stuff that got popular in 2014.
Yeah, the literal sort of NPR foundation of podcasting as a medium people listen to. He's just recreating that. I would say inadvisable plan, Chris, but okay, if you want to try to do better than Jada Boomerad, good luck, my man.
Well, he doesn't have the kind of editing skills yet, but he will.
Okay.
Especially if he's going to be talking about his personal stuff in here. Now, he's very culturally, educated, you can call it that. And he references Ratatouille, that movie, Ratatouille, the cooking.
Yes, of course.
And of course, we were talking about tasting things. So brings up that reference here.
Everyone has their own personal ratatouille. For me, it's my grandma's spaghetti and meatballs. Every time I went and got my haircut, she would be making meatballs. It was always a giant pot, bubbling full with lots of meatballs. Delicious.
Oh, delicious.
Loves meatballs.
Loves meatballs. Okay. Big meatball fan. These are good things to remember because someday, he's a podcaster now. So it's possible that we might be able to get him as a guest on something.
Oh yeah, he's stepped into
he's on our turf now. So we could figure something out. We better be careful. That's why I want Chris to know, and his people. They obviously are keeping track. I just want you guys to know we're having fun here. We're having a jab with you guys over there at Chris Cillizza Inc. But seriously, come on our show. Come on, Canary Cry. Well, I have so many questions, and I would love to pick Chris's brain about meatballs.
Clearly has some affinity. I like meatballs too. I'm just confused about why did he only get meatballs when he got haircuts, or what is the significance of the haircut?
Gons, he's making he's telling a story to activate the nostalgia and the importance of flavor in our experience of life, connecting it to mom and haircuts.
Mom and haircuts.
I don't know what he's doing. All right, what else you got?
So we got at the very end. So, I didn't listen to the entire episode, all 33 plus minutes there. I think about 35 minutes with the ads in there. But at the very end of the show, it brings up Ratatouille. So he has a guest, and she has a conversation with him, and they do kind of a Q&A, like a rapid fire Q&A at the end. And the last question was if this guest knew what the restaurant that Ratatouille was based on. Like, she knows the restaurant. And here's the exchange here.
This real world spot that can be found in Napa Valley, California, and has been called the best restaurant in the world. Name that restaurant.
That would be Chez Panisse.
It's the French Laundry.
No!
Whoa.
Sounded sadistic, and he's just like invoking liberal tears,
Wow. So he's trying to like kind of poke fun at a Gavin Newsom thing there?
Something, yeah. I didn't listen to the whole show. There could have been an earlier reference to the Gav man, the gruesome guy. But to have it be French Laundry, maybe a sore spot for the pool of guests that would be coming onto the show.
They're really not pulling any punches, bro. Wow.
Bringing the heat.
I think it's of note. It's relevant that his first episode is about what the world would be like without flavor. Because anybody following Chris Cillizza over to his podcast is used to having no taste. There, I said it. Okay, all right. Okay. No taste like that joke. Chris, it's a joke. Come on the show, man. I want to talk to you.
Not a joke.
Not a joke.
About coming on. No. About coming onto the show. That's not a joke.
Serious. I would love to talk to Chris. He doesn't even have to be. Look, we've got a lot of media properties that he could interact with. He could come on. He could come on the Joyspiracy Theory if he wants sort of a lighthearted experience. Mm-hmm. He could come on Ravel if he would like to share his deep thoughts about theology in the world, or he can come on Canary Cry. If
he makes it to Age of Deceit, then something is seriously wrong. Real wrong going on if he's on one of those. All right, so there you go. Thank you, Chris. We'll keep track of the downside up.
I'm gonna listen to it. I meant to listen to it on a plane, but I couldn't download it. I don't know what was wrong. I'm sorry, Chris. I'll catch up.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up with all them podcasts. There's a lot of them out there now. Yeah.
I know.
All right. Well, speaking of podcasting, I guess sort of. Entering a new world, and according to Politico.com. Headline, introducing the gross metaverse product. Kind of like gross domestic product, but gross metaverse product?
Yeah, I was waiting to hear what that is. It's like they're actually like kind of measuring the economy of metaverse?
Mm-hmm. Tech-savvy nation states like South Korea, Japan, and the United Arab Emirates are racing to plant their flag in the metaverse, making investments in the technology to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. I think it's actually in the billions now.
Yeah.
But how do you measure real-life success, the effectiveness of such a massive investment in a world that hardly exists yet? Dubai thinks it has the answer, announcing last week at its Dubai Metaverse Assembly that the Emirate will now be tracking its, quote, gross metaverse product. What, one might ask, will comprise that metric? The details are still fuzzy. A minister said only that Dubai will, quote, be able to create billions of dollars in returns from Dubai without people being physically in the emirate, but experiencing it in the metaverse. So going to websites online.
Experiencing
the sensory. Yeah, okay,
sensory.
Yeah, let me sit in my sensory deprivation tank, put on the headset, and I'm on a building in Dubai, baby. I'm partying. Yeah. And the GMP, they got it there. It's not the GDP, it's the GMP will include tourism, retail, real estate, and government services, among other things.
Government services.
Yeah, government services.
Love it.
The nation-state rush into the metaverse might sound familiar to the promises of companies like Procter & Gamble or the Creative Arts Agency, which have launched ambitious institutional metaverse projects mostly to display their eagerness to maintain their companies' technological edge. To some observers, it largely is. Quote, I see the proposed gross metaverse product as a clever marketing strategy, said Louis Rosenberg, a computer scientist and founder of the company Unanimous AI. Really what he's saying there is, why didn't I think of that? It's so obvious. Why can't I be the guy? Quote, for nations where tourism and entertainment make up a significant percentage of their GDP, the ability to represent that portion of that comes from the metaverse as GMP seems useful. End quote. It might seem odd to come up with national yardsticks for the virtual world that's designed to be transnational at heart, but policymakers would probably welcome a concrete way to show a return on their growing investments in the sector. South Korea announced its investments of more than $170 million in the metaverse earlier this year, aimed at both creating jobs related to its development and virtual platforms for city services. Saudi Arabia is pumping millions of dollars into gaming, not least because the industry is already at the center of the nascent metaverse. Consider Microsoft's $70 billion acquisition of Activision earlier this year, a move it framed as buying a stake in the metaverse. In a world currently more hype than reality, the hype factor of announcements like Dubai's isn't irrelevant. Quote, what's important here in my mind is the narrative that they seek to cement, said Jonathan Raz Friedman, founder and CEO of metaverse games company Super Social and co-host of Bloomberg's Into the Metaverse podcast. Yeah, see, they think they're ahead, Bloomberg, Into the Metaverse, but we already know who the best podcast in the metaverse is, and it's not Bloomberg. Quote,
no, it's Bong Thoughts with Rainbow Chris the Wizard.
No, just type in best podcast in the metaverse.com and you'll find out
see
who the
where
best,
it takes you.
See where it takes you. Quote, it's the story of a future-focused Dubai, a nation-state that captures a technology shift early to establish itself as a trailblazer for a new virtual economy. And it's all about the virtual economy. It goes on and on here and talks about, the different things going on with the metaverse. And,
well, this goes back to, and this conversation will sound sort of obvious to people now, but when we first started talking about the metaverse, and there was a lot of poo-pooers, and they thought it was just, a nothing burger or whatever.
Yeah. Marketing, as they think.
We're sort of irritated that we were even talking about it. And, our big point was, look, once the money is there, then it becomes real in the sort of, in the
spiritual legal,
this sort of, right. There are a couple different ways. Spiritual is a nice way to say it, but it's more like in the alchemy of the sort of magicians that rule the world, this fallen world, the leaders of it, they've created or work within a system that once money is there, once enough money is devoted to something, it makes it real. It sort of alchemizes it into not nothing.
Right.
And we've seen this over and over. I mean, it is just for a second, you realize that, like, oh, yeah, of course this is how it's always worked. But it is sort of a very real, sort of ritualistic, alchemical process. And the metaverse was simply this way. Like, it was nothing. Nobody was working with it. It was all indie companies. It was, the sort of underground game developer type of people. And then, boom, Facebook started getting involved in this and that. And the big Microsoft got in. And Apple started talking about it. And then not just companies, but countries started talking about it. Governments started investing in it. And boom, now we're sort of left in this reality where somehow the timeline has veered so far, mostly and almost exclusively because of people deciding to put money in it, that it is now the most important thing for the future of humanity, according to the people who are invested. And yeah, once you have not just any governments, but like the governments of pretty powerful nations. It's not a U.S., but the U.S. is also doing that.
No, they're doing it. They're doing it their own way.
The U.S. government is involved. But, you start getting OPEC countries focusing on the metaverse. That baby is real, man. This is going to becoming the center point for all sorts of not just money, but now human experience, because human experience follows where the money is.
Yeah, there's the article's interesting because it goes into the U.S. getting its act together, albeit slowly, with the crypto policies, because some stuff has been introduced recently with Biden talking about crypto and all the framework legally. But then there's a part that says, can standing BTS inoculate you against misinformation? And I don't even know what this has to do with the metaverse, but it talks about how that a group of misinformation researchers performed a, quote, virtual ethnography and semi-structured interviews of 34 Twitter users from the ARMY fandom, that's the BTS group, a global fan community supporting the Korean music group BTS, and published their results in the Harvard Kennedy School Misinformation Review last week. And in probing the types of false information those fans encounter in their community and how they react to it, they're basically, they've just found people, even, with misinformation or whatever, rabidly defend their idols. And it says here, those traits, namely, are, quote, strong sense of community and shared goals, something any polity or politician would seek to inspire in their followers. Of course, the one thing to verify or debunk misinformation about a particular celebrity's romantic life, the complicated philosophical questions and value judgments that our politics are a little bit more demanding, but understanding that the underlying mechanism by which information travels online and is preceded is an important part of navigating our current politics in its own right. So I don't know. Because everything's going online, I'm wondering if, obviously the information sweep is coming, but using some of these other nations as more of a test ground as to how you can create a type of movement that gets everybody on board and gets really defensive about their idols, right? And using that in the metaverse somehow for the politicians. Unless those mechanisms are there, I don't think they're going to really open it up so easily to everybody, because right now it's the tech companies that really have the stronghold, but nations are interested. So, we'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, the GMP.
Well, yeah. Well, we were talking about the economic battle between big data, data being the new oil, and how corporations were wielding this resource in ways that were overpowering nations in a way. And kind of in 2020-ish, we saw like literal battles, like legal battles going on between corporations and nation states over the new oil being data. And so the metaverse being sort of the new, you can almost think of it as the new drilling technology.
Sure. Yeah.
Whoever's got the newest, best drilling technology can gather more of the most important resource. In this case, it's data, and the metaverse being the mechanism by which it is collected. It's interesting because I see people responding either in chat or online, and not just this community but other communities, and just aren't buying it. And I think that's very healthy to have that skepticism, but just remember that same skepticism people had about the internet. They had the same skepticism about computers. Why would I need a computer in my house?
Well, and then look what they're doing to society for a large population to not just want to be in the metaverse, but almost prefer it over some kind of, human interaction, especially when there's a pandemic or some kind.
Exactly. They've proven that they can keep most people inside, and for 2 years at least. And if you keep most people inside for 2 years, you are you give them one way to interact with the outside world, the metaverse, I think they saw over the past 2 years they can do it. They can force use in it, and all they got to do is build it out now and wait for the next chance to make it the only way to interact with the world. And Dubai's trying to get ahead of the game there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot to go into there, but yeah, there's something that might trigger you a little bit more, Basil.
Insider.com. Do we have the funding breakdown of Insider.com at hand?
Yeah.
Because we could do it by memory, but I thought if you had it at hand,
here,
then we can do that. So we're bringing up the Harvard list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Business
my gosh!
Insider. Yep.
On my computer, on my laptop here, I don't have the same amount of, or I just have different security software. The advertisements are insane on this page. Okay, continue.
Okay. Business Insider, Axel Springer SE, German publisher, is majority owned by KKR, that's Henry Kravis, George R. Roberts, Jerome Kohlberg Jr., Private Equity.
Private equity. Okay, there we go. The headline here, all those new servers at your favorite restaurant aren't just bad at waiting tables. They may wind up crashing the entire economy.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Who's going to crash the economy? Is it Biden? No. Is it
the
Klaus
Fed?
Schwab? Is it the Fed? Is it all the people in charge of the banks? No. It's the servers at your restaurant that are crashing the economy. This
terrible.
Is just because he deserves to have his name out here. Neil Dutta, D-U-T-T-A. Let's see what he has to say. This came out on the 5th. How long does it take for a waiter to bring you your order? How many boxes can one Amazon worker fill in an hour? How many articles can I write a month?
Oh my gosh, this guy sounds like he's a robot lover.
I'm for the robots.
This guy gives himself a month to do his job and is giving the Amazon worker an hour. And
wow. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Go.
And he ends this stanza with, just how efficient are America's workers? While these may seem like questions better suited for a performance evaluation meeting, the efficiency of workers has huge implications for the economy. Productivity growth, the change in how much workers produce in an hour, has collapsed in 2022.
I wonder why. Why did it collapse? What happened?
If weak productivity continues, that will lead to higher costs, lower profit margins, and ultimately higher inflation. Essentially, bad news for companies and the stock market.
What?
So not only is he blaming inflation on waiters and Amazon workers, but he is saying this higher inflation caused by the working man is bad for companies and stock markets. He doesn't even recognize how the inflation is affecting the exact workers who he claims are causing it. Listen to this corporate drivel leaking from the back end of some sort of bovine who is standing over a funnel at Insider, and they use that excrement to print this nonsense about how the American workers' lack of productivity caused inflation and how that's so bad for the companies in the stock market.
All right. Let's see what else he says.
Efficiency drag. That's what he calls it. Labor productivity is measured simply as total output per hour worked, but there is much more to it than that. Under the hood, the measure also accounts for things like the composition of the workforce, workforce's ages, education, as well as changes in the quality of the machinery, tech, and field facilities workers have to use. The metric total factor productivity even adds in the intangibles that are not embodied by other factors, such as economy-wide technical progress. In all, productivity helps us define how efficiently a society uses its resources and is an important signal of how quickly an economy will grow long term. So notice how they are talking about workers, not just workers, but their age, their education. These are considered resources. And if they're not being put to their full potential, that's bad news. In the years before the pandemic, productivity was picking up. A tight labor market and increased competition for workers meant that firms invested more in their workforces. That is a lie, but that's okay. I'm not going to get worked up about that one. But notice, productivity is up because of a tight labor market and increased competition, because it's harder to get a job, and because more people are unemployed, and because people are compromising on what they are worth and what they can, run their family with, because of the pain and punishment of the working class. Things were looking up. From 2017 to 2019, labor productivity growth increased 1.6% a year, more than double the pace in previous 3 years. Many have been hopeful about productivity gains in light of pandemic-era time-saving changes like white-collar employees working from home instead of commuting. So far, however, labor productivity looks quite soft, and I see strong reasons to think it will stay that way. I wonder how much other factors are going into this productivity slump than simply the attitude of the workers. On the output side, economic growth is looking weak. It was essentially flat in the first half of 2022. Weird.
Mean when the richest lost, or the stock market itself, didn't it lose I can't remember the number now, multiple trillion. It's
quite a lot.
I mean, crypto itself lost 2 trillion. So it's got to be 20 trillion or something.
Then he goes into kind of the same, says, talking about the average of gross domestic product and gross domestic income. And it doesn't look like it's much improved. It goes into a bunch of numbers and stuff. But he says, what's behind this drop? With productivity on the decline, the next question is obvious. Why are workers getting less efficient? Ugh. What has changed that is making it so that employees need to use more hours to produce the same amount of output? The answer is twofold. Are you listening, workers? This is why you're not being so productive. First, there has been a lack of capital deepening investment by businesses in productivity-enhancing processes and tech. Capital deepening is straightforward. It is when investment, like robots, software, and machinery, rises more quickly than labor hours worked. From 1990 to 2010, capital deepening was an important driver of strong productivity growth, but stalled for nearly a decade following the financial crisis. But by 2016, things started to turn around. Capital deepening added about 0.7 percentage points to productivity from 2016 to 2021. However, in 2022, the contribution has tumbled to zero.
Those are the Trump years, 2016 to 2021.
Yeah, isn't that weird, huh? When Trump was in charge, was our best
pretty productive
in a long time. However, 2022, it's tumbled to zero.
And it's because you workers. You workers at restaurants and factories.
And it doesn't seem to be any reason to expect business investment to bounce back. Nobody's investing in their businesses now that Trump's out of office. Capital spending tends to follow the economic outlook. And with the chances of a recession on the rise, companies will be reluctant.
Chances of a recession?
Yeah,
Gosh, what is this guy
I was wondering
on?
if you're going to catch that. The chances of a recession. Okay. Companies will be reluctant to make big investments in new equipment or facilities. The latest regional manufacturing purchasers, managers indexes, surveys of business managers, blah, 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 blah. Okay. They're not buying enough stuff. The second reason for the drastic fall off in productivity is the state of America's labor market. Put simply, many workers don't know how to do their jobs very efficiently right now. There's too much churn in the job market. A little bit of churn is good. Workers find a job that suits them better and get paid a bit more, and everyone wins. But right now, we have too much of a good thing.
What?
Workers finding jobs that suit them and pay them more.
It's too good.
You're going to have too much of a good thing, Gons. You can't have all these workers happy in their jobs and making enough money to feed their families. That's bad news for business. The quits rate remained higher than it's ever been. When a worker quits one job and starts a new one, it takes time for them to learn the ropes, the ins, the outs, and that make them more efficient and able to produce at the highest level. At the same time, constant turnover means other employees have to take the time to train and cover their new coworkers. The airline industry is a very prominent example. New workers are trying to get up to speed, and older workers spending more time training their new counterparts. That leads to slower boarding
This
time.
guy's a robot. This guy is a complete AI creation. There is no way he's a human. He's looking at human. It's like, look at the lack of productivity of these humans. They're so inefficient. Oh, they must train. They must socialize and train newcomers. Wasting time. Cannot produce. My gosh.
I'm not going to read this whole paragraph, but just you can listen to this part. Similarly, the workforce is getting younger, adding a crop of less experienced workers. A crop. Yeah. He's literally talking about young teenage workers as crops. He is a robot.
He's a robot. I'm telling you, the guy's not real. There's no way.
Absolute robot.
The Antichrist may be here, folks. It may be this guy writing this article.
Neil Duda. All right, it's almost over. I'm skimming down to bad for companies, the economy, and stocks. This is his summation. The slowdown in labor productivity has big implications. For companies, this means they need to spend more on inputs and labor to produce the same amount. These higher input and labor costs squeeze profit margins. Companies don't like skinnier profit margins, so they will likely try to make up for the slower productivity in other ways, like higher costs for consumers or cuts to costs in other areas. We're paying these people too much money, man. What do? I don't know, raise prices.
We gotta charge people more and make cuts.
Those workers are going to need to make more money to spend on these higher costs. Yeah, I know. It's all these dang teenagers getting jobs. They're going to ruin the economy. There's a big difference between a margin squeeze driven primarily by higher compensation and one driven mainly by a weaker productivity. And then he kind of goes into some nonsense here. But he ends with this. These productivity-produced problems for companies are not a welcome development for stock markets. If higher labor costs are passed on to consumers, that will keep inflation higher for longer. Bro.
What?
That is inflation. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Forcing the Federal Reserve to continue to aggressively hike interest rates, which in turn dampens the outlook for the market. And if firms try to save costs by letting go of unproductive workers, total incomes will slow and fewer households will have the cash to continue spending. Yeah, that is how the money works, bro. We get it. Higher rates for longer and weaker consumer spending can add up to one thing: a recession. And stock markets don't do well in recessions. Cool.
Sounds like he's got some heavy investments in the stock market. He's not happy about it.
His portfolio is not looking too good. He's like, I'm going to write up a quick little doodad here, an insider to shame some workers. into taking less money and being more productive.
Yeah, Neil Duda writing up a Duda.
The message of this is humans are not robots. And if they were robots, we wouldn't be here. So everybody, replace your workers with robots, and let's just get this party started, all right? And that's what Flippy's for.
You know, this is a great example of how analytics is ruining society.
Is evil?
It's just complete. It takes any human out of people's thinking. I mean, this guy is clearly thinking with the technocrats and the elite, and I mean, and I don't even know if he's aware. He's clearly not aware, because when he writes, it just sounds like he's writing to all of his other elite lizard buddies, and like, yeah, isn't it bad? Look at these low workers with no skill and so unproductive.
He kind of forgets that humans will actually be reading his article.
Yeah.
And we've been following for the past year of like how the who was it, the JP Morgan Chase guy was saying like, oh man, I wish we had a recession. Right. And the Goldman Sachs guy was like, man, like a high unemployment rate would really be great right now. Would really love that. And this guy, he kind of just puts it all into one nice little tight little package for us. This is what they want. We are crops. We are machines. And if we're not good machines, they'll replace us with actual machines.
I think that's where this is all headed.
That's right. I'm going to blow my nose while we go to break.
Break. This is break. Don't just consume the content, but become the content. Become the content.
Take a break.
All right, let's thank some producers for coming in with their God-given talent. Don't just consume the content, but provide value back by building the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. All we ask is that you make whatever content you make as part of the show or for the show, and that's it. So let's start with some audio production.
Audio production. Productions.
And we got one from Caleb. Do we have a Caleb jingle? I don't remember if we did. I don't see one.
Yes, we do.
We do.
It's a rundown jingle.
Rundown jingle. No. I'm saying a introducing Caleb.
For Caleb.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we okay. But the note here from Caleb says, first jab, pun intended, at a rundown jingle. If it's too aggressive, no. What does it say? Yeah, too aggressive. No worries. Okay.
No worries. No
worries to you, buddy. All right. So this is the rundown jiggy. Wait, no, that's not it. Hold on. What happened? What happened to my rundown from Caleb?
Okay, someday, folks. Someday.
Yeah, I know. We'll get it right. Give me 1 sec, and I will have it for you.
Okay. Well, while you do that, I will remind everybody that, if you're an artist, if you're a producer of visual arts, or a musician or a writer or whatever, if you're a creative person, you just create something for the show and send it on in to canarycryradio@gmail.com, canarycryradio@gmail.com, and we'll put it on the show. It's a good time. It's a great way to produce the show and get your fingerprints all over this value for value model.
Yeah, that's what Caleb did. He sent this to us at canarycryradio@gmail.com. The rundown jingle. It's not too aggressive, Caleb. It could be more aggressive, to be honest.
That's the hype we're looking for. It's perfect. And I think it pairs nicely with our other rundown audio stuff. So thank you very much, Caleb. Well done.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, let's get to some art.
One art, please.
We kick it off with Dame Alley of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Alley now. Here it is.
And wow, I thought I had this ready too. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well.
Oh my gosh.
No. Here we go. All right. Yep. There is a haiku accompanying this, so I will go ahead and read
it.
That.
Nice.
Pope Francis and Apple CEO Tim Cook, a Dame Ebony Blaze haiku. Pontiff Tech Titan, private Vatican meeting discussing AI.
And with that, we have a beautiful headshot pencil portrait from Dame Allie that I am pulling up right now.
It's got the Pope on the left.
I got it. We got the Pope on the left. He's looking very dejected, almost like some sort of puppet with those lines running down the sides of his mouth. His eyes are dark and pensive. And in front of him is another strange man. Who is this man?
Tim Cook.
This is Tim Cook.
Yeah.
Tim Cook. He is sort of looking very squinty and is making kind of a face like he smells something he doesn't like very much. Mm-hmm. Both very well rendered. The lighting source is consistent, and Dame Allie continues to be a master of her craft.
Yeah, and we covered the story, I think it was the last episode, where, the Pope, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago, the Pope and, Tim Cook meeting and talking about AI, and, the Pope, but I think the line was that he's praying, what was it? He was telling people to pray that it continues to benefit humanity, the AI and machines and all that benefits humanity.
He doesn't want it going the wrong way.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Thank you very much, Dame Allie and Dame Ebony Blaze, for the piece on the Pope and Tim Cook. All right. Next up, we have Sir Dove, Knight of Rosbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
Yes. Do you have a note from him? I have a note from him.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. It says, Shalom, boys. This is meant to encourage anyone's... No, wait, that's not the right one. Peace for today's artwork. I have a piece to give away at the Feast of Tabernacles meetup next weekend. It's hand-painted and resin-coated on top of a broken skateboard with a wire attached to the back so it can be easily hung on a wall. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep praying for you.
Love it. And it is exactly that.
So cool.
It's the sort of 8 inches of a broken off skateboard with the sort of curved edge at the top there. And on the bottom, he's painted a lovely canary, a googly-eyed canary head. And you know what? That meetup is going to pop off. And coming back with some legit, authentic Sir Dove, Knight of Rosbeltia, Canary Cry art is truly going to be a treasure. So make sure to show up if you're in the Pennsylvania area. And very well done, Sir Dove, as always.
Yeah, and that's the same part of the country that started the last revolution. So, might start a new canary revolution over there. Thank you very much, Sir Dove, Knight of Rosbeltia. Appreciate it. We have one from Mark A.
A brand spanking new art from Mark A.
Here's a note here. Shalom, boys. This is meant to encourage anyone struggling from dealing with sin to just general hardship of life in this world. Let's remember that we're all being worked on by God. This was also inspired by Zechariah 9:11-14. Hope yins like it. Here's the passage here. As for you also, because of the blood of my covenant with you, I have set your prisoners free from the waterless pit. Return to the stronghold, O prisoners who have the hope. This very day I am declaring that I will restore double to you, for I will bend Judah as my bow. I will fill the bow with Ephraim, and I will stir up your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Greece, and I will make you like a warrior's sword. Then the Lord will appear over them, and his arrow will go forth like lightning, and the Lord God will blow the trumpet and will march in the storm winds of the south. That's Zechariah 9:11-14 NASB.
And the art that accompanies this is a 4-panel sort of comic art here, and it says at the top, "Life hurts, but God is turning you into something." The first cell shows a hand snapping off a branch of a tree, and the little branch says, "Ouch!" It says a little snap there. And then the branch, which is now a stick, is laying in the sun, drying out, and he looks so hot. He doesn't like it, and he says, I'm so hot. And then, next cell, we see Yahweh Inc. It's sort of a wood shop thing. You've got a gigantic metal gigantic lathe machine there in the back, and the stick is on a table, and he says, hold up, is that a lathe? Oh God, please no. Then the last panel, we see our friend the stick has been crafted into an arrow that is now shooting like lightning out of the bow of a shiny figure down there on the ground. And the stick, now an arrow, says, let's go! So he has experienced the transformation. May not be comfortable, but you got to trust that something cool is going to happen. Thank you very much, Mark A.
Thank you, Mark A. Let's go. Here we go. All right. Appreciate that. I love these little cartoons. They're so cool. They convey scripture and the show sentiment all at the same time. Brilliantly done. Thank you, Mark A. All right. We have microfiction.
Microfiction.
2 of them.
Nope.
Microfiction.
There has been a correction. There is only one today.
One of them.
Yep.
And it's from the Sentinel.
Okay. Is that the one we're doing first?
I don't know. No,
Hold on a second. 2. There is 2. Okay, I thought you were saying 2 from Runk Smash. There's not 2 from Runk Smash.
There's
2 1 from Runk Smash.
Total.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's start with Runk Smash.
Epilogue. Derwin 2.0 and Stacy stand among their army of misfits and unmarked visitors. The small band are outnumbered and outgunned by the Plantborg army of the Supreme Leader. As things look bleakest, the sky rolls up and everything changes.
Yeah, unmarked survivors, not visitors, but, close enough.
Yeah.
We are all visitors. We're all alien in this land, so it makes sense, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Thank you, Runk Smash. Appreciate it. And we got another one here from the Sentinel, which don't see a jingle for the Sentinel. I forget if there was
not yet.
Not yet, I guess. But we have one here. And are you ready?
I am ready. The 3 men pitch their tent. On the horizon is the orange hue of the druids gathering. The figures listen to the ground, the sound of their crackling campfire, and the crunching of scorpion kebabs as they prepare for battle the next day.
Oh, yeah.
Took me a couple of corrections to get through that one. Thank you very much to all of our artists. And you too, if you're a creative person, create something for the show, send it in. We'd love to put it on the show.
Yep. All right, let's quickly do SpeakPipe.
Okie dokie.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message. Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Look for a green tab. Click on it. It'll open a little window to record a message up to 90 seconds. And you can send it to us, and it gives us an opportunity to play it.
Oh my gosh. It's important you say the things, Cons.
I know,
it's
but
important that people know.
I like how mad you get about it.
But when I'm gone, do you make sure to say it? Please say you do, because it's important.
I forget it,
say
and then I say, "Oh, I miss Basil because he's the one that says it."
Okay, I'll need to start saying it again. Yes, so you're giving us permission to play it on the show, but it's not guaranteed. Who do we got?
Let's start off with Jonathan T.
Hello, you guys.
just want to say thank you for all that y'all do. 2 fact casters and 2 witnesses. I've been watching you guys since 2014. My name is Jonathan Taylor, Houston. I'm on there at Fearless Tis by Faith. Watch you guys faithfully. I haven't been able to demooch yet, but one day I will become a knight. And I pray for you guys constantly. I love you guys, all you guys, Canary Cry family. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Blessings upon all of our paths, prosperity and peace upon all your ways by the Prince of Peace, mightily. Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Thanks, Jonathan T. Appreciate it.
Amen. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Very kind words.
I think he was playing the show in the background. I think that was me screaming about the space robot and stuff.
Oh, I was wondering.
Yeah. So, next time, Jonathan T, just hit pause there. It's okay, And then,
I liked it.
You like it? You like the vibe?
It's, he's got stuff going on, man. He can't stop listening. You can't stop listening just because you're leaving a voicemail. Sure. Thank you very much, Jonathan T.
Thank you, Jonathan T. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for the kind words and the prayers. Next up, we have Spiritually Minded.
Hey, what's up, Basil and Gons? This is Spiritually Minded here. I just wanted to hop on. It is Thursday, and I'm currently listening to the Wednesday recording of the show. And I'm at the point in the recording here where Gons is talking about the producership and how it's at a whopping 0 and how there are no viewers watching on Twitter. So I just wanted to hop on and give you guys some encouragement because I am a faithful follower and I never watch your show live. I always watch it or listen to it the day after or a couple days after just because life is busy and I love, my routine is to put on the show and cook dinner. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I love and support you both. I'm so proud of both of you, and I'm just so proud of this show and how far you've come along. I've been tracking along with you guys for a decade, and I just think it's really amazing to see all of the things that you guys have been discussing come to pass. I'm really looking forward to Canary Cry Radio coming back into fruition. And I just wanted to also say that don't let little things get you down, like low producership or what seems like low viewership, because the reality is that people are listening, people are watching, and financially, that the good Lord's always got your back. Peace, love, blessings, boys.
Thank you, Spiritually Minded.
That is true. Thank you very, very much for the reminder. And were you complaining?
I wasn't complaining. No. What happened was that, I'm kind of going through all the social media stuff where we're streaming, and I noticed that on the Twitter feed, just the Twitter feed of Canary Cry Radio, there was 0 viewers as we were live.
Oh, and nobody watches on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. And then, and the other part was we didn't have any executive producers last episode, so it was sort of
sad.
A combination.
You were all alone.
It was all alone.
So sad.
But I wasn't alone. Yeah, thank you for reminding me that I was not alone. Never alone. Never alone.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I feel like I keep this in mind all the time, but I feel like sometimes I got to remind you that the live show and even the video show as a whole, wherever it may live, is a pretty small size of the entire listenership.
So we are told by algorithms that we may or may not trust.
So we are told by the only people we could possibly be told by. But yes, thank you very much. What was the name of that producer?
That was Spiritually Minded.
Thank you, Spiritually Minded. Appreciate it very much.
Yep, thank you very much. All right, we got one from Wandering Spirit Michael.
Hey guys, I might have missed an episode, but why do they call Gons the Cabana Boy?
Why do they, Basil?
Good question. That's what your wife called you when you first met or something, right?
Yeah.
Because you were like the sexy swim coach.
Had a great tan.
Had a great tan. You had your swimmer's body. Yeah, you were the Cabana Boy.
I was in the pool for 8 hours a day, six days a week. Yeah, it was looking good. Things were put together.
And now that loving nickname that your wife gave you, we share with the entire world with this podcast.
Yeah, although, I'm not living up to my end of maintaining the look, so I probably need to, get back in the pool.
Well, it gets hard after Many kids and podcasts.
Years added to the age number there.
Yeah. If only there was some sort of, I don't know, genetic therapy that could change your metabolism to a 22-year-old swim coach. If somebody could figure that out, please let us know.
Yeah. All right. We also have, thank you very much, Wandering Spirit Michael, for the question. Yeah, it's a good reminder every once in a while. We also have one here from Rochelle.
Oh, wow.
Happy Friday. Gons, great job holding down the fort while Basil's on the IR. And Basil, I hope you're better. Today I've got a request from a friend of mine. Thank you, Anne. This is Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. He allows me rest in his garden green. He leads me to the sparkling stream. Indwelt with the Spirit, a part of his team. He breaks and builds my soul. His path they righteous circle. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the grave, your rod, your staff will comfort and save. Your glory prepares a table for me in the face of my enemy. My head is satisfied with your sweet oil. My cup runneth over and spills on the soil. Goodness and mercy shall follow me, dwelling with the Lord eternally. Thanks, guys. Producers, you're doing awesome. And everyone, stay strong for Jesus.
Thank you, Rochelle.
Thank you. Very nice.
Yeah, appreciate it. And yep, that's it. That's all the messages today on SpeakPipe.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Well, let us continue. Let us continue. Here's the thing. Friday is usually the review reading day. What we are going to do, because I'm going to read the two that I missed last Friday. I'm going to read them at the end of the show. And then, you know what? It has been...
It's a blessing.
Maybe the most important blessing that we've had in a while, in a few weeks of pretty difficult times trying to keep this show going. The reviews coming in are incredible, and I don't want to give out too much praise because I'm afraid that will make it stop. But those of you who have been leaving ratings and reviews, it has really made a huge difference, and we can kind of start seeing these things turn around, or at least be sort of compensated for because of everyone who's leaving ratings and reviews. We got a nice big batch this week, and I'm going to be reading them throughout the show.
Throughout the week, maybe?
Throughout the week.
Yeah, I was going to say spread it out a little more.
Right. Maybe that's spread it out a little bit, but I don't want people to think that we're done. It's we still have a ways to go. And so what I will say is, first of all, gold stars to everybody who has left a rating and a review. Total 5 stars from me. And for those who are sitting there thinking, oh, good, I'm glad that somebody else left some reviews. Now I don't have to. No stars for you until you do, because if we can keep this going, this will make a huge difference in the literal next couple months moving into the winter period here. So please continue leaving ratings and reviews. If you have not done one yet, you are probably listening on Apple Podcast, and just hit that rating and review and leave one for us. It's is more important than I can say, and it means right now it is the only piece of the algorithm that we can actually control, and we're doing it. So please do that. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and a review. Steal your friend's iPhone, leave a rating and review on theirs, then return it. Just every every iPhone you see on the street, catch and release it and leave a rating and a review for Canary Cry News Talk. That'd be very helpful. Thank you. All right. Let's finish this up.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
Couple of articles in the realm of the beast system. The first one here is from the Times of Israel, and the headline here is IDF trials remote-controlled riot dispersal gun in Hebron. So, yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I know. Good use of the technology. The Israel Defense Forces has placed a new system that can remotely fire riot control ordinance during unrest in the West Bank city of Hebron.
Ordinance. That is a great word to use.
The riot gun, which was installed at a checkpoint on Hebron's Shuhada Street, is being tested as part of a pilot program and currently is only being used to fire sponge grenades, and the military told the Haaretz Daily. The system is also capable of shooting stun grenades and projectiles containing tear gas. They're not doing it yet. They're just capable of that. Quote, the possibility is being examined of using a remote-controlled system for approved means for dispersing riots, the IDF said. According to Smart Shooter, the company that developed the system, a soldier can lock onto a target and press the trigger, and the riot gun then moving into the proper position before firing. A prominent local Palestinian activist expressed concern over any potential failure, quote-unquote, of the riot gun, which uses artificial intelligence to process images. Quote, I see that as part of the transition from human to technological control. We Palestinians have become an object for training the high-tech industry of the Israeli army, which is not held to account for what it does, Issa Amro told the newspaper. Other technologies the IDF has deployed in Hebron, a frequent flashpoint between Israelis and Palestinians, have also drawn scrutiny. In 2020, a former Israeli soldier revealed they had photographed thousands of Palestinians to build a database for a sweeping facial recognition surveillance program in the southern West Bank city. Hebron, and then it goes into just a little sentence about the history there. But yeah, there you go. You know, it's so convenient the crowd dispersion is how they're describing it with civil unrest, but and
they even say themselves like it can be mounted with different kinds of ordinances, which means they're building a kill bot.
Yeah, it's a kill bot.
It is a kill bot, and the agenda sort of continues of not simply making the labor of oppression easier. And I'm going to take this out of the Israeli-Palestinian context, which it doesn't need to be taken out of. Of course, there are certainly critiques of what's going on and how power is being wielded there. But any power structure that takes the liability out of the hands of a human and puts it into an AI is a power structure that will be even less hesitant to wield deadly force because there literally won't be a human involved. Now, of course, the remote control thing is the thing, just blah, 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 blah. But it uses automation already, and the remote control, more or less, because we've seen this in every instance of something like this, the quote-unquote remote control capability is pretty much just boils down to PR. It's just marketing. Like, don't worry, a human will be involved for now. And but what it is, it's a liability disbursement system is what it is. Because then you don't have a soldier that can be sued or jailed. You don't have a chain of command. You don't have a human sergeant who gives the order, blah, blah, blah. It all goes to the robots, and they are much more difficult to justify any sort of recompense against deadly force.
Yeah, but you can also, because of who is wielding this technology here, I mean, it just becomes easier to sort of push back against the machine, so to speak. But also, this kind of reminds me of this idea that, the gamification of everything, including warfare and riot control and stuff like that. This is almost like putting all of those things that are pretty difficult to do in sort of the traditional ways of force and military and all that. And it's putting it on easy mode. You know, you just kind of aim and hit the button, and then the AI will do the rest, you know?
And we've seen it. We have a history of it with drones, with American, remote-controlled drones, where we're flying, drones over the Middle East, and it's a kid in Nevada, in a bunker somewhere in Nevada, with a literal Xbox controller that they use to control these drones. And, we've been seeing horrific results from that program that really picked up pace during the Obama era. And not just from the people getting missiled at their wedding, and not just the, you know what I mean? Not just the people who live their lives where if they look up in the sky and see a dot way up there, they have to run and hide, because even if they're not a terrorist or whatever, even if they're not the target, those things are hitting people.
Collateral damage.
The collateral damage. Some of the most recent numbers I saw were something like, I think it was higher than this, so I could be corrected, and I know which direction I would be corrected. I think it's higher than this. But the collateral damage rate was 60%. 60% of all people that these remote controlled drones killed were not the target. So, that is an enormous.
There's just a good spread,
It's quite the spread, huh? And it's interesting how it started in the sky, and it's just going down to ground level now. So, even if it is remote controlled, that doesn't make it any better than if it was autonomous robots killing people. It's almost, I don't know. It doesn't make it any better. We've seen the damage that comes from remote controlled drones, and this is incredibly disturbing. And if the IDF is going to be using it, it's only a matter of time before it's on domestic soil all over the world.
Yeah, the psyop of everybody calling for gun control. They didn't finish the sentence. Right. It's like gun control. Of the robots.
Yes.
Robots
Hand
control
over
the guns.
Your guns. Yeah. 60%. That means more people die of collateral damage than they do on purpose. And with what we're seeing in Iran right now, Iran just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Israel. All the riots in Iran, the uprising against the regime over there. People are getting shot in the streets.
Are they raining fire down from heaven? Is that what's happening?
That's exactly what they're doing over there. And, it's just a matter of time before this company, literal death company in Israel, starts selling their robots to other quote unquote peacekeeping forces around the world.
Yeah. Well, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles, and it makes sense that whoever this dude that arrives at the end times is supposed to be, he's got the power to call fire down from heaven, or at least his false prophet does. Specific there.
Maybe that's what the mark is, because they talk about all these what do they call them? The AI tricking things you can do, the makeup and the jewelry you can wear on your face that confuses the facial recognition.
Yeah.
You got to get a QR code on your forehead so when the robots see you, they don't shoot you. See, it confuses them. So if you want to survive the robot apocalypse, you just have to take this cute little mark. That's not actually foretold. I'm just, blabba-dabbing here at the end of the show.
It's sort of the way the mark of God is supposed to work in a sense as well.
Okay, yeah.
Go read Ezekiel too. Ezekiel, I believe it was, what is it, chapter 2 or chapter 9? I think it's chapter 9, where Ezekiel is told to mark people's foreheads to be spared while the judgment rolls through.
An oft forgotten passage.
Yeah. So there you go. And speaking of drones, by the way,
welcome to Chinese news.
It comes from China. China.
Drone strikes have saved lives.
Can we shoot them down if over our property?
Drones.
TheDrive.com headline: China pairs armed robot dogs with drones that can drop them anywhere.
Oh, cool. Tactical dog drone helicopters. Love it.
Footage of a Chinese-made drone carrying a robot dog is armed with a machine gun has started to make its rounds on social media, and it looks like it was taken straight out of a dystopian war movie. It isn't immediately clear if the video was recorded as part of a Chinese military exercise or rather in an effort to demonstrate how the pairing will operate. But even without that context, the clip could serve as a foretelling of the technology that may populate future battlegrounds.
Could be.
And remember, battlegrounds, what was his name? What was it?
Starts with an M?
Forgetting his name.
Macy Gray.
Maddox, Mad Dog, I forget. Man, maybe the chat will remember the speech at the graduating ceremony at, I forget the school too.
I think it was West Point.
West Point, you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I forget the guy's name. But anyway, he was talking about urban warfare and that like everywhere will become a battleground. Like nowhere are you safe. But anyway, the 1 minute video was originally...
Well, and he was saying how warfare... Millie, by the
Millie,
way.
thank you.
Mad Dog Millie.
Yeah.
His whole speech about how war would be everywhere, but would be a smaller, more tactical, small squads.
Right.
Yeah, you helicopter in a couple of robot dog drones, and booyah, you're not safe anywhere.
Yeah, the 1 minute video was originally posted yesterday on Weibo, a Chinese microblogging website, by a user either affiliated with or representing the local defense company that reportedly develops the drone being used to deploy the RoboDog.
Oh, either, huh?
Yeah, either.
Cool.
And the tweet here by Leah Wong: Bloodwing, a Chinese defense contractor, demonstrates drone deploying an armed RoboDog. The future is now. I love how positive they are about it.
The company is called Bloodwing?
Bloodwing.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool name. The footage begins with a shot of the drone as it approaches the rooftop. I mean, why don't we just, I guess for people that are just listening.
Yeah, I mean, it's a helicopter drone that has a dog.
So loud. Okay, sorry. They always have to have that epic music in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a drone carrying the dog, and then it comes down and
it's pretty hardcore.
Lands and
yeah, I mean, if you are on the Canary Cry newsletter, you'll have this link in your inbox there. You should definitely go watch it because it's just like a fun way to spend a minute and a half.
Yeah, although it does still look like you can walk up to it with a bat and just start whacking at it, and it might go down. I don't think they're really too robust.
Yeah,
yet.
Well, the flying drones are pretty chill, but once you beat the flying drone, you still got to deal with the machine gun robot dog.
Yeah, I guess the terrifying part is that when the robot dog, because when it's dropped, it's it's kind of all curled up, and then when it finally deploys, it stands up and it starts walking around. Yeah, good direction the world is headed. The Weibo account, which is verified by the platform, has the username Crystal Defense Bloodwing and shared the video on the site, accompanied with a description that offers limited but nonetheless additional information. The account seems to be directly affiliated with the Chinese Kestrel Defense Company, also called China Kestrel Defense in some instances, although it isn't clear what exactly Bloodwing is in reference to. It is important to note...
I was going to say, Bloodwing, pretty effective name if you're trying to sell a strategic SWAT dogs that fly down on helicopters.
Yeah. It is important to note as well that all the details extracted from Weibo have been machine translated from Chinese to English, meaning some terms and phrases may not be accurately communicated.
Thank
Quote,
you. I was worried.
War dogs descending from the sky, air assault, red wing forward heavy duty drones deliver combat robot dogs, which can be directly inserted into a weak link behind the enemy to launch a surprise attack, or can be placed on the roof of the enemy to occupy the commanding heights to suppress firepower. The ground troops can conduct a three-dimensional pincer attack on the enemy in the building. Yeah, only Chinese propaganda would be so detailed on what it can do. With the added color offered by his this description, it can at the very least be gathered that the drone robo-dog pairing was conceptualized with the idea that it could be deployed during assault operations, especially in urban areas. Oh, you know what would be bad, Basil, is if this whole, because here's the thing, China doesn't follow any of the international rules when it comes to, like, intellectual property or
literally
anything, right? And the big thing with US right now, at least what is being told to the public, is, hey, look, we're not weaponizing our robo dogs. We're not giving it. We're giving plants a machete and robot arm, but robot dogs, we're not equipping them with.
We're arming the plants, not the dogs. Okay, chill out, everyone.
But think of the I don't know, the difference there. Where in the U.S. it's like, oh yeah, we're not doing that. We're staying ethical. And then
It'll
China
be remote control,
and then China
it
being
won't
like,
hurt anybody.
China being like, hey, they're gonna roll in from the sky. They're gonna come down and land. I wonder if they're
gonna be dope. It's gonna be so sick. They're gonna kill so many people.
The robot takeover in the U.S. is literally going to be a bunch of robot dogs with machetes, or maybe they're wrapped in plants and they have machete arms and guns, and they're just being rained down in droves.
Yeah,
the huge swarm army of Chinese robot dogs coming down from the sky. Meanwhile, the Americans are like, we were ethical, and then it all goes down.
I mean, such is the story of the past 5 or 6 years, really.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they've been wanting, and that's exactly how it's turning out. It's going to be great.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think this is supposed to comfort us in any way.
It's a psyop, Gons. It's a psyop. It's working.
Are they trying to get people to purchase more guns? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, or build a effective EMP rifle.
Oh, see, yeah, the weaponry changes, right?
Yeah,
that's information that I bet would
the historical battle between armorers and armor makers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the advancing technology that affects the person with the stronger technology being deemed the winner in the end. So maybe the U.S. are deploying some kind of like EMP weapon that just like knocks. So Joe Biden's going to come out with his his aviators on. 89 years old is still take out Chinese drones.
Yeah.
Bam.
Well, they're forgetting the spiritual technology, and that's what we got here, folks. That's why you come to Canary Cry. All right. Well, I think that's it, Gons.
That is it. Yeah.
You feel good?
I feel satisfactory.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it's just good enough to feel. Thanks, everybody. And thank you to our producers. No executive producers to thank today, but thank you to all of our producers who came in with their time, their talent, and their treasure. And we'll be back on Monday. You can produce that show by heading over to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
And we got other producers to thank, like the Clippies.
The Clippies.
Clippy on those videos. Thanks.
That's right. Thank you to producer Emsworth and producer Faye Liverin for making it happen over there at the Canary Cry Clips channel. Go check it out, everybody, and drop them a little note to say you appreciate their work. And they couldn't do it without the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
That's right. The timestamps go into so much of our back-end process, and our timestampers are the heroes that make it happen, because we would never be able to do it. Gons, who did the timestamps for episode 543?
543. Whoa, what happened to my doc here? 543 Fish and Chips was done by Christine C. Thank you very much, Christine C.
Thank you very much, Christine C. We appreciate it. Your work is invaluable. Let's see here. Our social media gal.
The social media consultant.
Thanks so much. Social media, follow us, do
That's right. Making sure our art gets up on the social media is Dame Miss G of the OV and Deep Rivers. Thank you very much. Make sure to go to, this time that I've been out, the meetups have been popping off. Head on over to canarycrymeetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetups.
Yeah, over there at Canary Cry Meetups, you can see all the new meetups that are happening this month. We have the Rogers, Arkansas meetup at the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue is happening right now, 5th through the 8th. So can't wait to hear about that. If you're in Arkansas, head on over to Rogers, Arkansas, meet up with those guys. We've got the Bald Eagle State Forest, Pennsylvania Russ Beltia meetup for the Feast of Tabernacles. That'll be with the Salmons and the Dove family over there. We also have a new meetup, Ottawa Valley, October 22nd. That's right, Canada. Ottawa Valley Coffee in Aprior at 11:11 a.m. at 10/22/22, October 22nd. You can get in contact with Miss G Beauty, Miss Grace Elizabeth at protonmail.com. You can find all the contact over there at canarycrymeetups.com. And just a shout out to the Maryville, Indiana meetup on November 5th, the Phoenix, Arizona meetup on November 4th and 5th, and the Silver Dollar City in Missouri, December 11th. Silver Dollar City. I gotta get over there to Silver Dollar City. That's right. They're everywhere, folks. Go to canarycrymeetups.com. Check it out. If there's not one near you, there can be. Just put it on yourself. Pick a time, pick a place. Tell us about it, and we will tell the Canarium, and they will flock to you. canarycrymeetups.com. We'll see you at the meetup.
Yeah, the Canadian meetup is that's Dame Miss G. So she's got to own the damehood a little bit. Dame Miss G of the OV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is fun.
That's right. A couple of reviews here. A couple I missed last week. I want to thank AHJ32, 5 stars, says, blessing. What more can I say about my brothers in Christ here to who inform and keep things real, hilarious, and most importantly, biblical. I had been listening to Gons on his YouTube channel, Face Like the Sun, for the longest, not even knowing there was this awesome podcast, and it's definitely been a blessing to keep me in tune with the world events when I tend to just want to shut the world out and get away from the chaos and lies and misinformation and deception in a lot of media these days. Love their personalities and creative ways they go about delivering their platform and bringing like minds together, which I definitely want to get in contact with. That's good. There's a lot of ways to do that. But most importantly, like I said, they have genuine desire to bring truth and awareness, to be a light to a fading world in desperate need of the Father through his Son, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Appreciate you guys more than you know, as I'm sure the body and real Church of Christ does as well. Thank you for making a doofus like me think harder and be more aware of things than I ever having an outlet I can trust. Not to say they're perfect, that's right, because that's what Scripture is for. But genuinely love these guys' vibe. Keep it up. I'm praying for greater reach and success, and I hope more people leave reviews so Basil doesn't have to beg and plead on his metaphorical knees. That's right. Much love, brothers. Hope to meet y'all one day here on earth or in glorious presence of His Majesty Elohim. Thank you very much. Much AHJ32.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I put that one in there twice. Okay. I'm not sure if... Hold on a second.
Yeah, because there was another one, right? That you were going.
Yeah, I think there was another one. Let me just check real quick. Swoopsie doozies. Okay, this one is from... Oh, no, that's not right either. Oh, no. Where's the other one? Spot on. This is it, I think. Yes. Madre, 1230. 5 stars, spot on. An amusing, astute, and timely curation of current global news stories and events. Are world events confusing you? Does most of what you see in the media seem illogical and feel wrong? Basil and Gons will help you make sense of these crazy times we live in. No conspiracy here. Everything they break down comes right from the mainstream media. They tie it all together weeks, months, sometimes years ahead of the mainstream, and only say, "We told you so," in a humble, sincere way. No war-hardened goblins, ruptured vocal cords, or dietary supplement pushing.
I love
no
that.
ads. Yeah, I know. No ads at all, actually. Give Canary Cry News Talk a listen and break out of the cage. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. I thought about that. Maybe the ruptured vocal cords we got to add it to the list of things we need to do. That's free. I just need to yell more,
Well, it'll happen. I think it'll just sort of happen eventually.
As we get older and more angry at everything happening. Yeah, sure.
It'll just kind of happen. Thank you very much. And I implore everyone else to leave a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts. It is our one way to fight back right now. And Gons and I have no control over it. It is entirely you guys. So please do that. And thank you very much to those who do. And other than that, folks, just share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends' family. Yeah, don't forget about them. Wow, it has been so long since I've been on this document. It is a very hard thing for me to navigate right now. Yeah. Share it, and that's really the best way for the show to spread. You always trust your friends and your family and your friends' family to give you the lowdown on what the best podcast is. But you don't have to simply do it the old-fashioned way. You could find some other way to do it. Such as, we have some creative people on here, not only like Chris Shillzilla, who started a podcast, Bong Thoughts, but you could start a podcast. You can put some googly eyes on that podcast, and then you can use drones to airdrop that podcast onto unsuspecting enemies. That's right. Love your enemies, we are told. Well, now all you got to do, if you're one of those eccentric billionaires out there, get 10,000 drones, 10,000 brand new iPhone 14s, load it all up with Canary Cry News Talk, stick a couple of googly eyes on that iPhone 14, because apparently that's how you make people not afraid of attack drones coming down from the sky and handing them free iPhones filled with podcasts. And then they will take that phone. They will be very grateful. They'll probably peel the googly eyes off because it's difficult to get it into your pocket when there's big stickers on your phone. But they will be happy to learn that these iPhones have been programmed to only accomplish one function, and that is playing Canary Cry News Talk, their new favorite podcast. You don't have to do it that way. You could do it any sort of way you want, but if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. We call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk on up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Thanks for bearing with us, everybody. Things will get back to normal soon. But Gons, do you have any last words?
Yeah, we forgot to share the next calendar art. Yeah,
and it's so good too.
It's very good.
We'll have to do it on Monday.
Yeah, we'll do it Monday. We'll do it early Monday because it's great. Yeah. So
yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff happening in October. There's a Curious Events Day, Astronomy Day, Basil's birthday.
Save it for Monday. We'll do it Monday.
Oh no, I'm just saying.
And I will also remind. Remember, we have the special going on for the supply drop. If you sign up to the supply drop right now, you will get the actual physical cassette tape with the Canary Cry Mixtape Volume 1 on it as a bonus gift. So head to canarycrysupply.com. All right. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, everybody. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Feed him more.
It will kill.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
This is the United States of America, for God's
Wives
sake.
in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space lane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward. On board, the passengers experienced a 3 G's of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship. We have Bezos. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything.
I love the Great Reset.
Wives in space, children in the cosmos, with your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
Give me a break. Armageddon's on the way. I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
It will kill.
Feed him more.
We're all gonna die.
Fun fact, I believe it was
Armageddon's on the way.
Another fun fact. Fun fact.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Another fun fact.
We're all gonna die.
Back to my Screamo days.
We must always thank God for our brothers, as is right, because our faith grows abundantly, and the love we have for one another increases. I myself rejoice for the steadfast faith in all persecutions and afflictions that you endure. This is evidence of the righteous judgment of God, that you may be considered worthy of his kingdom, for which you are suffering. Since indeed God considers it just to repay affliction to those who afflict you, and to grant relief to those who are afflicted. When our Lord is revealed from heaven with his mighty angels in flaming fire, he will bring vengeance upon those who do not hearken to the gospel of Christ. They will suffer the punishment of eternal destruction, away from the presence of the Lord. Now concerning the coming of our Lord, and our being gathered together to him, do not be easily shaken in mind, either by a spirit or a spoken word, to the effect that the day has come. Let no one deceive you, for that day will not come unless the great falling away comes first, and the man of lawlessness is revealed. This is the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself against every so-called God or object of worship. He will sit in the temple of God and proclaim himself to be God. We must always remember these things. The mystery of lawlessness is already at work, and the one who now restrains it will only do so until he is out of the way. Then the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord Jesus will destroy by the breath of his mouth, and bring to nothing by the appearance of his coming. The coming of the lawless one is by the activity of Satan, with all power and lying wonders. With all wicked deception, those who are perishing refuse to love the truth, and so be saved. Therefore, God sends them a strong delusion, so they believe what is false, and all those who did not believe the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness, will be condemned. So then, stand firm, and hold fast to that which you have been taught. The Lord is faithful. He will establish you and guard you against the evil one. May the Lord direct your hearts to the love of God and to the perseverance of Christ Jesus.
Of the day gets to feeling like a maze. It's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry waits. When your brain's in a haze on a headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry waits. Canary, cry waits. Oh, canary, cry waits. Oh, the world's changing every day, each and every way you turn, there's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see his glory shining like a sun. Run the race until it's done, come on everyone. Canary, cry ways. Oh, canary, cry ways. When your brain's in a haze and the headline days, come on ahead my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry ways.
Goodbye, everybody. And that's the end. And everyone says, oh, that was fun.
Bye, 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 bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.